Good afternoon and welcome to For the Blood is the Life. I'll be your games master this afternoon, and in the game we have Shaun McGuile playing Aldoran Talloran, the Elven Ranger. Glyn Heaviside as Kerj Razorclaw, the Beast Folk Bearman Druid. Louise Mary Morris is playing Mog of the Bright Eye Clan, the Orc Rogue and Artist. And Nell Tate as Tamara Greyhawk, the Human Warrior. We start the session as you are returning from your raid against the bandits at Edison Point, having successfully driven them out and returned the beacon to the control of the ducal forces. And you're intending to return back to Fannon's trading post, which you kind of call your home in this frontier region. With your victory over the bandits still fresh in your mind, you find yourselves in good spirits, despite the weather on the trail back from Edison Point. Initially, it was characterized by snow, minor blizzards, and the biting cold winds. But as you descend the mountains, the weather grew more mild, and it wasn't long before you found yourselves beneath the snowline. By comparison, the slightly chill breezes here are refreshing, and you don't miss the snow which you've left behind. At night, the clear skies have furnished you with an unhindered view of the starlit sky and the waxing moon. The journey back to Fannon should take you a little over a week all told if the conditions remain favourable, and so far it's been a pleasant enough trip. You're more than halfway home when your good mood is sullied by a grim sight. Blood-stained rocks and grass are your first warning that something has met its end here. But it's not long before you find it. A dead goat lies in the grass among the rocks, its head lolling to one side. Something about the entire scene just doesn't seem entirely right. And over to the players.
Okay, let's investigate it cautiously, taking a good look around the area to see what might have caused it, what could be the cause of death.
Okay.
Are we being watched?
Well, the thing is, has it been? Is it an animal attack? Has it been sacrificed? What are the wounds on the creature, the goats?
Okay, so you're going to check the wounds to see if you can garner what exactly was the cause of death. Obviously, it's not unusual for goats to die in the wild, but this one doesn't appear to have been eaten, and there is a lot of blood, but all the flesh is still there, which is drawing your concern somewhat. As you draw a little bit closer to try and garner the exact situation, can I have perception? Actually, perception any focus. You can select which focus you would like to use from all of you, please. It's an opposed roll, but I'll be concealing the roll so you don't know whether you've passed or not, unless, of course, you do. So that would be... Okay, let's take a look. Okay then. It hasn't totted up properly, but I can do that in my head. Okay. So Aldoran used seeing, and Kerj used hearing, and hasn't heard anything. Tamara used searching, which I'll treat as seeing, and Mog, you also use searching, which I'll treat as seeing. So, everyone except Kerj has noticed what appears to be behind the rocks to the north. A head appears, just sticks up above the rocks, notices you've spotted it, and ducks back down very quickly. What little you did catch of it, it appeared to be the head of some kind of small humanoid, a gnome perhaps, or a halfling, with wild hair, and is similarly Well, wild's not really the right term. I think unkempt is more the term. So I'm just going to place you all on the map. And just confirm for me you can all see where you're at.
I can see the dead goat.
That's good. Okay.
Can't see anybody else.
I can see everybody, but I do
Oh,
not.
there we are.
I don't have control of my token.
You don't. So Kerj doesn't have control of
Nor me.
his token.
Nor me.
His token. That's odd because they came directly from your character sheets, so that should absolutely have given you control of them. That might mean that you don't have control of your character sheets. So
I do.
because I rolled from it.
of course you all rolled from it. Well, that's very odd.
Yeah. I can move Tamara because when when Nell wasn't here, we were given control of her character, but I can't move me.
You can now, Shaun.
So
That should be you.
Yeah,
given
my
control.
name's now popped up.
Yeah, and Glyn, you're about to gain control of your character there, and there should be Mog coming up next. Going over to. Sorry, I've just added that to Marie, and she's listed on the game as a co-games master, although she isn't actually games mastering. So I just can't spot. There we are. There, everybody should have control of themselves now, and I'll just drop the thing you think you've seen in as well from behind some rocks. Is and why hasn't he appeared? For those listening into the stream, we've had a lot of technical issues today. We started 20 minutes late because of sound issues as well, but never mind. Okay, so you should be able to see who you've seen. He's off to the northwest behind the large set of rocks. That's where you saw the head pop up and then immediately duck back down. Okay, so what would you all like to do?
Would like to very cautiously try not to look terrifying, which I know is hard for me. Go over towards the rocks and say, "Is there someone there? Are you okay? Are you injured?
Okay. I'm just going to make the grid a little bit more visible to you, so that you can move up to what you would be allowed to move in a as if this was a combat. It's definitely not a combat, honest.
Right. Okay.
I can get to there.
Okay, you get all the way there. Can I have another perception roll from Mog, please? You can use whichever smelling.
I just have searching.
Just have searching. Okay. Well, that's about the only one you can't use. So I'll just take 2 points off
sorry.
your total. No, that's all right. I'll just take 2 points off your total. That still gives you 11, so you get all the way there. And I just need to see what the opposed roll for that would be. So I'll just pop this up. And that would be. It's definitely not calculating totals properly, but never mind. 12 and Mog, you. Okay, Mog, you hear as you oh, sorry, it's not. I'm reading. Yeah, it was only Mog I wanted that roll from, and Mog, you haven't heard it. So you are approaching the rocks, trying to make calming, soothing statements. What would you like to say exactly?
Are you okay? Do you need some help? We have med kits if you're injured.
Right, this halfling's head kind of appears above the rocks. Who are you? What do you want?
I'm Mog. We were just coming this way to get home, and we saw the goat and then saw your head.
You killed the goat? You can see him start whizzing up a sling. He's loaded a stone. He's swinging it round, ready to get the momentum.
No. I didn't kill your goat. we were just coming this way, and then we saw this goat already. Was it your goat?
Okay, he gives you a suspicious look. One eye's half closed and the other one's a bit open. He's trying to look at you. He's thinking, yeah, who would trust an orc and a bear? I think they've killed that goat. So let's see if you can convince him otherwise. Could you make a communication persuasion roll, because you genuinely didn't kill the goat?
But you should say something like, if I'd killed the goat, I would have eaten it.
Can I kneel down and get on his level so that I'm less terrifying?
Yes, and I will give you a bonus to your roll because you've done that. You're trying to make yourself smaller and less threatening. And because of that, he kind of pauses and he steps out from behind the rocks, but he's still got a suspicious eye on you, and he's still just swinging the sling just to keep the momentum up, just in case he decides to need it. He said, "I know funny business from you, otherwise I'll set Woofus on you." And you hear from behind the rocks,
Oh, has he got a dog? Yay!
It sounds very much like he has a dog, yes.
Hello, Rufus. Can I check my pockets for bits of food or anything that a dog might like? I think I've got some meat on me, some trail rations.
Right, you are. As soon as you
Bit
produce
of goat jerky.
yeah, as soon as you produce the jerky, this dog leaps over the rocks and hurtles towards you, and the halfling's like, "Woofus, Woofus, Woofus, heel, Woofus, heel, good dog, good dog." Whereas the dog just ignores him completely, so you have no idea why he's saying "good dog." It ignores him completely and comes bounding over to you and takes the food and gives you a big lick.
Whoa, what a good doggy. Hello.
Meanwhile, the halfling's like, "Oh, for fuck, right, okay. Well, I suppose we're committed." And closes on you. He's stopped swinging his sling, but he's still got his staff gripped, ready to belt you over the head with it if he feels the need to do so. Meanwhile, the others have approached the goat, and they're about to have a bit of a look and see what they can find out. Or some of the others have approached the goat. Well, okay, just Aldoran's approached the goat.
Aldoran's going to have a look and see a closer look at the goat, see what's gone on with it. Why is it dead? Well, obviously it looks like it's had its throat slit.
It does look like it's had its throat bitten out, is what it actually looks like. And unfortunately, I know we've barely started, but I'm going to have to call our lunch break here. For those watching, we should have started much earlier, but the technical problems have caused issues, and we have to take our lunch break when my wife comes home from her charity work. So it is 20 to 2 now. 20 to 3 now. Should we say back at 3:10? Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, see you all back at 3:10. I will stop the recording and we'll do the second part when I get. And welcome back after lunch. So where we left it, you've found a dead goat on the road, and you've also encountered somebody was watching you from behind a rock. Mog's gone to investigate. That appears to be a halfling goat herd, and his dog Woofus, who've arrived round about the same time you did, and Mog's managed to convince them that you weren't the ones that harmed the goat. Meanwhile, over by the dead goat, we have Aldoran, the elven ranger, and he's going to take a look at the goat and see what he thinks is the issue. So, on closer inspection, the ghost has what looks like a humanoid bite in its neck, with 2 deep puncture wounds where the assailant's canine teeth would be. Could I have an intelligence healing roll if you've got healing, or an intelligence natural law, religious law, or arcane law? Any of those rolls would be fine. You'll get different information depending on which one you use.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my character sheet to load up. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
So, I don't have any of those focuses.
Okay. Well, the only one that's required would have been the intelligence healing, so you can just make an intelligence roll and I'll give the information you would have got from the other 3 options.
Okay. Is it a nanny or a bill?
It is. Let's just take a look. It's a nanny.
No, I ain't getting anywhere with that.
Well, your total was 8, so let's just take a look at the target number. It was only 7. So,
Stump points.
yes, 3 stump points as well. Right, actually, I should have read that first. You can't actually make that second set of rolls until somebody has passed an intelligence healing roll. Okay. So, it's definitely dead. It's definitely been
dead, and a bite wound to the neck was the cause of death, it looks like.
It looks like you can't find any other wound. Well, actually you can, but none that would be fatal. The other wounds are some claw marks near its stomach and its spine, as if something held it down while it bit it. But the killing blow does appear to have been the bite to the neck, which will do that if it's deep enough. I notice Kerj is approaching, so does Kerj want to take a look?
I want to take a look first of all at the blood pattern. Is there any significance to the way the blood is spread out around the goat?
It's a spatter pattern that doesn't immediately make a great deal of sense to you at first glance, but if you could make an intelligence surgery roll. And that is okay. It looks like whatever did it, most of the spatter pattern isn't from the actual goat directly. Most of it is whatever bit it at some point pulled back and shook its head, and that's what's caused the spray. So the predator is at some point when it was finished shaking its head. The other thing you've noticed, having passed that that roll, because that was a 13, so let's just have a look.
Yep.
And I've opened the wrong thing there. Good start. Okay, so the dead goat has been ensanguinated. Most of its blood has been removed, which is what ensanguinated means, obviously. Even to a casual observer, this was not the work of Sturges. Which I bring up for those who don't remember. Some time back, there was rumours in this region of vampire attacks, and the party then found a colony of Sturges and thought that the vampire attacks were actually Sturge attacks, but this is definitely not Sturges. Okay, so Mog.
Question, Reader. I know I won't have any because I wasn't on that adventure. Well, Mog wasn't.
Yeah.
Do the rest of the party still have a whole bunch of garlic?
You don't know, but if you could make a perception smelling test, please. It's a very easy test.
I don't think we would have, because if anything that we picked would have gone off by now.
Yes, that's true.
Or eaten.
Or eaten.
What was it? Perception smelling?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've still only got searching.
Okay, 18. You are almost overwhelmed by the stench of garlic that's coming off both Hewell, the halfling's introduced himself now as Hewell, and Rufus T. Davis, which is his dog, both of whom are wearing a necklace of garlic bulbs
Okay.
and are now racing down towards the dead goat to investigate.
Is there anything along the lines of a collar or the remnants of a collar on this goat?
No,
Like
there
a
isn't.
bell or whatever.
Yeah.
Does it have a brand on it?
Yes, it does. It's an H.
Right.
Huh.
I'll examine the wound.
Okay, examining the wound will require a intelligence healing or intelligence surgery roll. Sorry if I sounded a touch distracted there. It's because my wife's just entered the room with a Amazon delivery. Sorry, a Asda delivery that wasn't due for another 4 days. Okay, so let's take a look. Kerj has is that Kerj's? Yes, it is, and that's a 15 with 5 stunt points. That's enough.
Correct.
I think I will just double check. I think the target number was 13 for this one, so let's just double check. Oh, it was only 11 in point of fact. Okay, so the bite to the neck, it's definitely human-shaped bite for the most part, except the canines are vastly too long to be human canines.
Mm-hmm.
They're more sort of canid or felid length, so a big cat or a big dog would be more likely to have canines that size, but it's the wrong shaped bite and the wrong sized bite for them. So it's something human shaped, except for those extended canines, and the amount of pressure that's been delivered is a human could do it, but it would be a maniacal attack to deliver that level of force. The other wounds look like fingers with claws at the end, which have held the thing down whilst its neck's been bitten. There is some from the hesitation marks around the wound. There's been some resistance, but it hasn't been for anywhere near as long as you might expect.
Is the size of the bite the same as the average human mouth?
Yes.
Right.
Not a bit smaller than.
Not a bit smaller, no.
Okay, and for my stunt points, if I may, from exploration stunts,
Yes.
I'll take the object of my attention for a +1 bonus to further tests to examine or perceive additional aspects of the object of your test until the time or venue change, and I'll take advantageous positioning for the. I got 5, didn't I?
Yep, you did. Okay. Whilst you're deciding...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take advantageous positioning.
Right, okay. So whilst you're taking a look at the animal's injuries, this small halfling and his dog run over. To call the dog a sheepdog would be generous. It's clearly a mongrel, but there is some breed of sheepdog in there. It comes running over, takes a look at the goat, and then kind of sits down and whimpers.
Aww.
Hugh comes over and takes a look, and he reacts with a mixture of anger and sadness. It's definitely one of his goats. That's the mark on the side, and he utters one word that you can make out clearly, and that is vampire.
Right.
Big problem around here, are they?
He looks up from where he's kneeling next to the goat. He's got like one hand on the goat. He's stroking it, even though it's too late. It's completely gone. It's not like it's dying. It's long dead. Well, not long dead, but it's dead. He looks up at Mog, and he says, That's the problem with the frontier, all the damn vampires.
Well, that sucks.
This is about as close as I like to get to town.
Yes. So he sort of takes a moment, because he is quite grief-stricken by the loss of his goats. A lot of the local goat herders don't raise goats for the meat; they raise them for the milk, and they make cheese with the goat milk as well as goat milk, because it's a damn sight nicer than the cheese that you can get at Fannon's. As anybody who's familiar with Fannon's can tell you. It's also
Well, nodding along in agreement.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see what else Huel has to tell you. Because you've asked him about the vampires. So, yeah, he's out looking. You can actually see in the background on the hills there's quite a lot of goats dotted around the place as well. And he says he's actually been looking for this goat because it's been missing. He's a relatively small herd, and he'd hoped it wouldn't come to this. He'd hoped it was just going to be something mundane, and that it wouldn't turn out to be what it has turned out to be. But it is apparently become a victim of one of the vampires in the area. And what he can tell you about the vampires, let's have a look. Okay, so the pungent stench of garlic is almost overwhelming in the presence of the strange halfling and his dog, both of which are wearing woven necklaces of garlic buds. The halfling's hair and beard, while not wild exactly, have certainly not been groomed in a day or two. And he's dressed in, excuse me, he's dressed in woven woolen attire, that of a goat herd, combined with some leather armour. He's also armed with a staff and a sling. Right.
You said if somebody passed a healing test, that they could take subsequent tests.
Yes, if you'd like to. Yeah.
One of which was arcane law.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Let me just bring that up again. So it's yep, arcane law. Target number would be 7. You've scored significantly more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have a look. The dead. Sorry, we know that this is definitely the work of vampires. There's no question. There's nothing else you can think of that would deliver a bite of this size and shape, and would also have exsanguinated the corpse. So there's no doubt in your mind that it's vampires. As you announce this to the group, Huel says, there are definitely vampires preying on the area. Sometimes they take a lone goat herd or a farmer. Sometimes they take travellers through this area. Trappers are very common to take. I think I know where they're coming from, but I couldn't conceive of being able to take them out myself.
With a roll of 17, do I know what works against vampires within this setting?
Yes. Okay. The mythology about them being destroyed by sunlight is exactly that. Is mythology. Sunlight itself does them no harm. However, it does strip them of some other powers.
Right.
Specifically, it strips them of their ability to regenerate. So you can kill a vampire under sunlight. You can kill it the way you would kill a normal creature under sunlight. But if it's not in sunlight when it dies, it will regenerate. there is almost no way to permanently kill one other than doing it under sunlight or decapitating it or striking it directly through the heart with a wooden stick.
Would an arrow do?
An arrow would do, yes.
Does it have to be any particular kind of wood?
No, it doesn't have to be. Although
Right.
some types of wood are more effective, it doesn't have to be. Now, the problem is with the decapitation or the hitting it through the heart, it's a lot harder to do. I mean, both Mog and sorry, I forgot the elf's name temporarily. It'll come back to us any second. Aldoran, yeah, would know that both of those things are a lot harder than people imagine. Because decapitating someone is not easy, and hitting the heart is not as easy as it sounds. It's not just a case of hitting it anywhere in the chest either. With a vampire, it has to be directly through the center of the heart. In game terms, what that means is you would need to score stunt points on a blow in order to hit the right area, and it would have to be a blow where the damage was high enough to kill the creature as well. So it's difficult. They're not easy to kill, these things. In fact, didn't you score 17? You did, so I might tell you a little bit more about vampires.
Yes.
For some reason, vampires are something that Kerj knows a lot about.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why particularly, but he does appear to know a lot about vampires. The other thing he knows about them is that usually you have two types of vampire. You have a master and a thrall. The masters are extremely powerful. The thralls are enough of a nightmare that you'd prefer not to have to fight one if you can avoid it. But they're nowhere near as powerful as the masters, and they are enslaved to the will of the master. If you can kill a master, most thralls under the power of that master will also fall. Only the most powerful thralls would survive their master being killed. But most of them would actually perish if their master did, which does give the species a bit of a weakness. Also, most masters will not create too many thralls, especially not in an area where prey is sparse.
I would like to check something out, actually, if that's okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just part of the map, but there looks to be some sort of fog here. I just want to check that it's not like a mist form vampire.
It's not a mist form vampire. It's a wet, muddy part of the ground where it's not draining properly.
Okay.
But you're quite right. I'm glad you noticed that little effect. That took me all of about 30 seconds to create. You'll find there's another one down here as well.
Yeah.
Right. So
there's a big one over here.
And a much bigger one over here, yeah. That's more noticeable and deeper. That's why it's more a slightly different.
And then the cloud just drifts across.
A cloud does drift across, and we have Glyn to thank for the clouds.
Oh.
As he bought the clouds and cloud shadow packages for me, amongst other things, which you will also be encountering during this adventure. So whilst you're thanking him for the cloud effects, you can also be blaming him for some of the things you'll be meeting later on.
Oh, yay. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, Glenn.
I do have a question, Brian.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Roll20 related. It's not game related.
Okay.
When I was in my game yesterday,
Uh-huh.
I could see a lot more stuff.
Right.
As assets. Now,
yes.
Is that a share thing that's going on?
No, what that is because you're a premium member, the same as me, they give you a lot of free stuff.
Ah, right, so that's all the free stuff that comes
That's
in,
all the free stuff that comes with being a premium member, yeah. And occasionally they will just add some extra free stuff without telling you. But also,
nice.
I don't know if
it's a bit of a shock. You come in here, where's all this stuff come from?
Yeah, yeah, it is. If you check as you load a game in, there's an option on the first page before you actually get into the game for add-ons. If you check, you'll notice you've got some add-ons that came free with being a premium member as well.
Okay.
So there you go.
I've
Also, I don't
noticed.
know if you know about it, but once a month all premium members get some free stuff that they actually have to click to get
Right.
as well, which I'll tell you more about later on after the game
Yep,
if you
fine.
like.
Hashtag
Okay.
not spawn.
Sorry?
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored, yes. But obviously, we'd like to encourage as many people as possible to use Roll20 because we've no idea how long the pandemic will go on. And this is quite a good way to keep gaming when you can't get face to face. And we've used it for quite. I mean, Glyn, for example, lives quite a distance away from me. It wouldn't really be feasible to meet up regularly. Anyway. Back to the actual game. So you have a dead goat.
Yes.
You're pretty sure vampires are responsible. Kerj seems to know a remarkable amount about vampires for a druid who spent most of his life living in the woods. What else he knows about vampires is any mortal race can become a vampire. Generally speaking, vampires prefer the taste of blood from their own species. When I say any mortal race, I mean any sentient race. So it's unlikely that this goat was killed by a goat vampire. It is possible it was killed by a goat beastkin vampire.
I was just going to say, do you want a hook to explain how Kerj knows these things?
I would be interested to know how Kerj knows these things.
Well, just when you said a ghost beastkin there, it fit with exactly what I was thinking was his village and people were preyed upon dreadfully by vampires for generations.
Well, there you go. So that's why Kerj knows so much about these creatures, and he's starting to have flashbacks to the terror of the time that his village was.
No.
In fact, this might actually be one of the vampires that escaped the town's retribution. Dun, dun, dun.
Happy to take a phobia to vampires if you want to integrate it.
See how this adventure goes, and then
Yep, okay.
if this also becomes quite traumatic for him, then we might very well do that. Yes.
I'm just gonna put a reassuring hand on Kerj's shoulder there. It's okay.
Right, you
We'll
can
get
feel he's trembling a little bit.
As long as you're not stood behind him when you do it, you don't want to make him jump. Just clap him on the back.
It's okay. We'll sort this.
Don't surprise Kerj. His reflexive response now is to turn into a bison and charge.
Look, I've only got 4 gold left. Please don't jump.
Okay, so the halfling hears Mog say something about like, "Don't worry, we'll sort it," and his eyes light up just a little bit. Well, now, if you were to rid the area of the vampire scourge, I'm sure that all who live here would owe you a great debt.
What was your goat doing out here by itself?
It's a goat. It's the sort of thing goats do, is wander off. We're forever having to round them up.
So
I have an idea.
wouldn't stay with the herd then? Or, what I'm wondering is, was it dragged here?
You can try and have a look. Make a perception tracking
One of the
roll.
things I was going to say, is there anything like tracks leading to from?
Yeah.
Make some tracking rolls, and I will tell you what you find out.
I'll give it a go. Can I use perception seeing, or does it have to be?
You can use
tracking?
perception seeing if you prefer. Yeah, you'll need to have a higher
can I
target
use
number as
searching?
well. Right? Yes, you can use searching as well. Tracking would give you the lowest target number. Searching will give you a slightly higher one, and just seeing would give you a higher one again.
Last 2
So
rolls.
Aldoran has not passed, because had it been using tracking, that would have been a pass, but seeing, it doesn't quite give him enough. Tamara, on the other hand, has spotted something. Mog hasn't. So Tamara's the only person to have noticed anything. There are some tracks nearby.
You didn't mention me specifically there, or was that just?
You've got 16. That is you're using seeing, so that would be just one shy. So you've not quite spotted.
Okay.
So there's only Tamara notices the tracks, and that's probably because there just aren't many at all. What there are is a few tracks right around this slightly soggy patch of ground that Louise just asked me about. Because the ground's softer there, it has taken the prints. What's interesting is the prints are not what you were expecting. They're neither human nor are they goat-like. They're more sort of clawed with only a handful of toes. You draw Kerj's attention to it and ask if he's familiar with that type of track. Kerj, you are, but not of this size. It's very, very rare to see this animal leave tracks because they don't normally walk a lot. But what you're seeing are the imprints of bat feet.
Lovely.
Yeah, but
Huh.
this bat would be something in the region, extrapolating on the size of the print, of about 5'8" and 170 pounds. I know I should have done that in kilograms, but weirdly, I'm just of that generation in the UK where we learned distances in metric and weights in imperial. So yeah, it's a human-sized bat is what appears to have left those prints, and they have come out of nowhere.
It flew. It flew here, it landed, and it flew away again.
Yes,
Right.
that appears to be exactly what's happened.
Checking around the area, are there any birds in the trees or bushes?
There aren't a great many trees here. There are a few bushes. As for birds, let's see now. There is a good chance there will be. I've just realised I haven't placed your quote, who is indeed still following you around, even though he's not technically a familiar. Quoth the Raven just kind of likes hanging out with you because A, he likes the fact you keep feeding him, and B, he likes the fact that he can be sarcastic to you. He is eyeing up the goat's eyeballs sort of expectantly. He's waiting for no one to be looking, especially the goat herd, so that he can just pick them. There are a few other birds in the area as well, though.
I have an idea for the goat herd, actually.
Okay.
The garlic you're wearing around your neck.
Yes.
Do you have any more of it? Could you attach it to the goat collars of the rest of your herd?
He doesn't have enough for the entire herd. Well, he might have if he sacrificed some of the garlic he's wearing and his dog's wearing. He might have enough for one bulb each.
There is an issue though.
Yeah.
Won't the other goats just eat it off the other goats?
Yes, that's what happened the last time.
Fair enough.
Goats will largely eat anything. And
One tried to eat my brother's sleeve at Beats World once.
yeah,
It's not a bad idea, but yeah,
it's a
goats
good
being
idea,
goats.
but it is something he has tried, and the problem was exactly that. The other goats just ate it. Because they are voracious creatures and will eat just about anything. But yes, you have spotted a few birds in the other trees. I have a suspicion I know why you asked as well.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. You will have to actually tell me though, but
Oh, right.
just in case I'm wrong.
I'm going to tell you with a roll.
Right? Okay.
It's the barrel roll, isn't it?
Average mini roll. Or at least I will once the page reloads again, because it keeps going black for some reason.
Yeah, my map keeps vanishing.
Black maps matter.
Okay. Is the entire map going black, or is it just a band?
Just a band at times.
Right, I know what's causing that.
The whole thing keeps vanishing for me.
I had it vanish once.
Okay, so let me
It was,
just...
but all the tokens, the people, the token layer and the grid layer was all there, but
Yeah, same.
Right.
natural terrain disappeared.
So I'm gonna roll up some beast speech. Have a quick word and see what happens.
I think you'll find that the going black should stop now. Unfortunately, so will the clouds.
Oh.
But I had that problem when my broadband was a touch overloaded yesterday. It started happening. So that would be what that was. Okay, so you've attempted a beast speech with a total of 13. That's a success. So take the mana off. You attempt a beast speech to speak to the birds.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The birds look quite startled because suddenly they can understand you, which comes as a surprise to them. So a lot of them have their heads cocked on one side now.
Hello.
Hello.
Did you see what happened to this goat?
Some of the birds say no, but one of the birds says yes, yes. Saw what happened. Saw what happened. Big bat thing.
Did you see which direction it came from and which direction it left by?
Yes, up.
Well, the birds in this area are nothing if not consistent.
Yes. You get the impression this is the bird being overly literal and not deliberately sarcastic, though.
Right. Okay. Did it that way up or that way up? Just sort of pointing.
Oh, right. Yes. Understand. Up and that way, and it points. So this is west-ish.
Did it come and go the same way?
Yes. Yes, it did. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Swooped in, grabbed goat, hurt goat, swooped out.
How long ago?
It doesn't have quite a grasp of time that you have, so it just says it was dark.
And what time is it now? Asking you as the GM.
Right. It is. It's before lunch, but it's not early morning. It's late morning. Is the term I think I'm looking for.
So it's. And what time's dawn roughly?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What season are we in?
You are in autumn
isn't it?
at the moment. It is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Are we pre or post October effectively?
you would be around about October.
Yeah, because it could be
Coming up to what would be Halloween on Earth, but it's not in Orith.
I don't know.
So you're
6, 7,
probably
6,
talking
7
about
a.m.
6, 7 o'clock. I think the sun would
Yeah,
start peeking over the horizon.
Oh, I take it we are geographically in the same sort of latitude, and we have a tilt on this planet.
Roughly, yes. You're in a
like
temporal
Earth,
area. I mean, the description I was given about the Grand Duchy of Jeff from Wizards of the Coast was that, not directly, it was on one of their sites, was the Grand Duchy of Jeff is approximately medieval Wales.
Right. So similar sort of weather,
Yeah.
latitude, sun up, sun down, etc.
That's right, yeah. No coast, though. It's landlocked.
From what you said earlier, that I'm aware of the kind of tracks that it leaves, but not at this size.
Yes.
Does that mean there are no bat beast folk?
There are bat beast folk, but they're not common, and you've never met one.
Right. So this isn't the similar kind of issue to alligator beast folk versus gatorkin.
No, it's not. It's not an entirely different species. Actually, I've told a lie there. You have encountered one, if not met one. You remember that vampire that terrorized your village?
Yes.
That was a batkin vampire, bat beastkin vampire, beast folk vampire rather.
And would a beast folk of a bat type choose to live in a cave? Is there any particular habitat that they would prefer?
Yeah, something like a cave would be very likely.
Right.
Somewhere dark.
Yes. So it fed during the dark. It didn't want to risk being in direct sunlight to weaken its powers.
Yes.
It was feeding when it was strongest, and it's going to be naturally nocturnal. Would its normal sleeping pattern translate over into its vampire existence?
Yes, it would be hanging from a roof of a cave rather than lying in the earth. It would be sort of clinging to the...
Right. Unless anyone has any objections, I'm going to... Let's see, it's daytime. Flying as a bat isn't going to be as useful during daytime?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take on... Let's see, which is my fastest bird form. I'm going to do some research. So I will quite happily defer to anybody else while I'm
Whilst you're
doing
looking
it.
something up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Huel seems to be most comfortable, oddly enough, talking to Mog. I say oddly enough because halflings and orcs not generally the best of friends, but he's recognised that Mog's not your average orc, and she was the one that talked to him first and calmed his fears. So he's saying that he does know of a cave nearby that he's always suspected as where the vampires were coming from. It's not a cave as well. It is a cave, but it's a sinkhole. So it's literally a hole in the ground that's collapsed to reveal caves underneath.
Like where the Sturges came out of.
Very similar to where the Sturges came out of, but well, I was going to say but bigger. He doesn't know the size of the Sturge sinkhole that you found, but from the description he's given, this sounds like it's quite sizable.
Probably not going to be able to bomb that one.
No.
No.
Turning into a hawk.
Turning into a hawk? Right you are.
Just.
Okay, just is good enough. You manage to summon the magical energy and you can feel your muscles changing shape and size. It's actually, I wouldn't say painful, but it's a touch uncomfortable as they contract and as your arms begin to shrink but turn into wings. And before you know it, you're a hawk. Quoth kind of hops backwards with surprise and squawks at you.
Turn to him, give him a wink, and fly off west.
Right you
Don't leave without us.
Sorry?
I think he's just doing some reconnaissance. I think
He's using his hawk eyes.
Did I not announce that?
No.
No.
We don't know what you said to the birds because none of us speak bird. So
It was that, yes. Well, preoccupied as he is with vampires and the flashbacks to his village, he simply hasn't told you.
Yeah. As he changes into a bird, Huel looks startled by this as well. Probably more startled than Quoth, who already knows that that Kerj can change into animal form. It's just never seen him do a bird before. Huel looks much more startled because he's never seen a bear man turn into a hawk, or indeed into anything else.
He's never seen a bear man.
Indeed. And he looks at Morgan and goes, does he do that a lot?
I haven't known him very long, but he does. The last time I went anywhere with him, he turned into a bison. And a bat, actually, but much
What, a
smaller
bison,
than...
like you put water in to wash your hands?
No, one of those big, fluffy, cute cow things.
Oh, right. I might be thinking of a basin.
Yeah.
The guy we chased into that locked room didn't think it was fluffy and cute.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Okay, would anybody else like to do or say anything else before I tell
I think we should follow him.
Yes,
Well,
you can start heading
up the hill.
in that direction.
I take it we're going along the road over towards the west.
Yes.
What are we doing about the dead goat?
Huel will handle the dead goat because it's one of his, so he'll make the arrangements to deal with the dead goat. Just before you go, though, if you're going after the vampires, he wants to give you something.
Okay.
So if you're going after those creatures, you're going to need this. And he reaches into like a pouch he's wearing on a cross belt across his body. He reaches in, rummages around for a moment, and brings out what looks suspiciously to you like a cucumber sandwich.
Right.
For a second, you think, why is he trying to give us a cucumber sandwich? And then that's clearly not what he's trying to give you. He's just moving it out of the way. So he sticks it in his mouth to hold, and he starts rummaging around again and pulls out what appears to be a jar of some description. So he checks on the that it's the right jar. You unstop as it sniffs. Yep, that's the one. And hands it to you. Says, what's in there is a healing balm. There should be enough in there for 3 small applications, or if it's really serious, just use the lot. But it's very, very powerful. So, don't use it all at once unless you absolutely have to. But I think if you're going after those creatures, then you're probably going to need it. Now, I'm going to copy the information about this into the chat for you. And if you want, whoever's taken it, if you'd like to make a note of
I'll
that.
give a hold.
There you go.
I'm going to thank him and tell him to look after himself. And close the doors at night.
I'd always do.
In case of more vampires.
Always do. And you all take care as well. Be very careful. Try not to get bitten. Very bad.
And you take care as well, Wuffles.
Arf! Arf!
Stroke the dog. Give it a pet as we go.
So, Rufus T. Davies gives you another lick before you go.
Now you've got a hand covered in dog slabber.
Yes.
It's okay, I'm going to wipe it on your shirt.
You have to catch me first.
And the rest of you are heading off after Kerj. Now then, Kerj will get there before the rest of you do, obviously, because he's flying, but the rest of you will arrive. Well, it's about 3 miles, so he's going to get there in a few minutes. It's going to take you guys about half an hour, maybe longer, because you're going over rough ground to get there. So I'm just going to move you all over onto the next map.
I suppose, yeah.
It'll take it a little while to resolve, so it'll look a little bit muggy at first, but there you go. And I think you're all on there already. Yes.
I'm on a black screen.
I'll just add.
I just need to wait for it to load in.
Right. I'm just going to check that you've all got control of your. Yeah, it's just as well I checked. So, Morg, you should have control of yours now.
I might do, but I can't see.
Okay, I'll fix that in a second as well then. That'll be... Now then, which lighting is this using? Standard or... I think it's using Legacy.
Is it a new map, Brian?
It is a new map, yes.
Yeah, it might not use Legacy. It might be automatically dynamic lighting.
It was
switched off.
It was new-ish when I wrote this, so it wasn't.
Right, so it's not.
Dynamic lighting hadn't been unrolled at that point. I'm just going to make. Actually, I should be able to tell from this setting here.
Yeah, there's a setting on there because I noticed that on the new map I did, like for the game yesterday. It was different to previous.
Yes, they've changed quite a lot. Okay, you should all be able to see, so I don't know why you can't.
I can't see either.
Okay,
I'm blind.
I might have to change this to the new dynamic light and do it, because you should be able to see. And if you're not doing, then something weird is happening. Let's just have a look. Yep, okay. Taking a look at your view, you're quite right, you can't see. Legacy lighting has sights not ticked, that's why. Right, Louise, can you see now? No, you still can't.
No.
Okay, so it looks like this has gone over to dynamic lighting, even though I asked it not to. So let's just turn token vision on in dynamic light and see if that helps.
Hey! Now I can see me, but I can't see anything else.
Oh well, that's one step closer. I'll just change. I'll just change everybody else over to dynamic light because it shouldn't have been on dynamic light because it was made before dynamic light was rolled out, and I didn't ask it to change over because there was a 2-day long wait the other day.
Tamara.
So that should now just be Shaun who can't see.
Yeah.
I still can't see, and I can only see Tamara. Oh, I can see Kerj as well.
Yep, that's fine. That's all we should be able to see. Right?
Have I reverted to bear or?
It has reverted you to bear, so you will need to change yourself back
All right.
over. I just need to change the page onto dynamic lighting, and you should. Daylight mode's not on.
Yay!
There we go. I can tell from the cheers.
That's it.
That's a very green bush.
It is a very green bush, isn't it? Yes, I do apologise for that. That map was actually made before dynamic lighting was rolled out, and it should have been waiting for me to tell it if it wanted to be converted. And I said no, given the option the other day, because there was a 2-day long wait to have maps converted. But obviously, that's been converted anyway, which is where the problem arose, so apologies. But this is where you find yourselves. There's a large area of the ground that's just fallen away into a deep cavern underneath. Kerj is flying over it, so what Kerj can see is the hole in the ground drops away some 30 metres or so to what appears to be an underground lake. Parts of it are deep enough that if you fell in from the surface you might survive. Parts of it are a bit more shallow. You can also see that on the northern part of the hole is the shore, which you would, if you were going to fall in, you would want to avoid falling into that, especially this bit up here, which is the most dangerous and has the chunks of rock and debris still lying around. Now, in the lake itself you have a central island here, and can I have a perception seeing roll from Kerj, please?
Yes, now.
You will be using hawks, won't you, instead?
I would indeed, yes. So that's perception 3 with a focus in seeing. I think that might just be a match for what I've already got. It is.
All right, okay.
I'm naturally hawk-eyed.
Yeah, apparently. Okay, you can see a chest on the island as well. It's actually on the map, but I thought I would have you, because you're quite a distance up, I would have you roll to see, because the chest is partly entombed in sort of calcification that's built up over the years. So you've got an odd feeling that that was there before this sinkhole was as big as this.
How big is the chest?
It's difficult for Kerj to tell from this height, but you would say it's probably about half a metre across.
Okay.
That means I've got better eyes than a hawk.
Yeah. I do think in most games animals are a bit underpowered. Could, from the rest of you please, actually Kerj, you can do this as well, could I have a perception seeing roll please? It has to be seeing, but if you don't have seeing it can be just bare perception.
I'm not in bear form, but...
Did we just do the same pun there?
I'm afraid you did.
Probably.
Ooh, everybody's rolling high. I'll roll low. Watch me roll low. Yeah.
Nope. Everybody has scored high enough to notice this that I'm pinging now.
The bones.
The bones. Looks like a rib cage.
Oh, is that a skull there as well?
It is a skull there as well, now you can't mention it, yes. The skull's humanoid and about the size of an adult human. The rib cage similarly looks to be that of an adult human.
Oh joy.
Thought you'd be pleased.
Been there a while, or has it just been stripped of flesh?
It's difficult to be sure, but if you make a perception healing or perception surgery roll, I'll give you an answer.
I've just got searching.
17.
17's good enough. Okay. The bones are slightly sun bleached, which would suggest that the bones have been here since the sun was strong enough to bleach them, which would have been in the summer. And long enough for the bleaching effect to occur, so it must have been at the start of the summer. So yes, as Nell says, quite a while.
Okay.
Also, there's enough soil built up around them that would also suggest that they've been here quite a while as well.
I think we should tread carefully around here.
Bearing in mind that I took Hawk form, which has the fastest flying speed of any of the forms that I've got,
Yes.
speed of 20, I would have arrived here first, yes?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. You arrived here about 2 hours before. Not 2 hours, sorry. 3 miles takes me about 15 minutes to walk a mile over this kind of terrain. I'm slightly faster than a lot of people. Let's say 20 to took them about an hour to get here. It would have taken you about 10 minutes.
Right. Did I see anything in the intervening time?
No, nothing alive in this area. No birds in this area. No animals in this area. Quite a few clouds. It's quite windy as well today. A little bit breezy.
Right.
You
Okay.
can tell from the speed the clouds are going across the.
I'm going to fly down the sinkhole.
In that case, I'm going to take just Kerj over to the next map, so that you will see down here.
Can I just ask, did he do that before we got there, or did he see us, or did we see him do that?
No. He'll have done that before we got there, I would suspect.
Yeah.
Waiting for us.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so I'm going to put this on in dynamic lighting because it looks like that's what. Does Kerj have night vision?
Ah, no.
Not as a hawk, you wouldn't, would you? Sort of answers my question. Multi-sided, choose side, bat, dog.
Yeah, it does specify owls have similar stats, though with the added special quality of dark vision.
Right. Actually, it's just occurred to me, you can probably see here anyway.
I can't see anything.
I will just make sure that you can't see anything.
No, it's completely black. Oh, hang on, sorry. Top right. I don't know if it just appeared or if I was zoomed in on a black part.
Ah, you were zoomed in on a black part, I think. I'll just move you to where you would actually arrive, which would be over the... just a second.
Yeah.
Thanks, Beth. Yeah, so there. You've arrived there. As you can see, down the sinkhole, things are much larger down there. This is a large cavern. There's this lake extends further than you could see from above. The ground area, ignore the fact that I've got the other characters on there because obviously they haven't arrived yet. In fact, I'll just move them out of your vision and into a wall for now, just to keep them out of your way. You can also see that there's a passageway leads off deeper into the ground. So that's what you can see from down there.
Right.
Could I have a perception seeing roll, please?
Certainly. The two different colours in the pool.
Yes.
Does that denote two
Depth.
different depths?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay. Still getting the issue where stuff is going black.
Okay, that's definitely not an animation then, because we do have one animation here, but it's not an unstable one. It shouldn't be doing that. You've seen it many a time. I've used it in so many games. It's the moonbeams. In this case, they are sunbeams.
I've just refreshed and that hasn't fixed it this time.
Oh right, okay. That's unfortunate.
I'll do the perception seeing roll, however.
Yes.
My character can see even if I can't.
Hold on a second. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Tell me if that's solved it for you.
It has not.
Right. Okay, so it's definitely not the animation that's caused
Actually, the only thing I can see now is Tamara for some reason. I can't even see Kerj.
Well, that's handy, isn't it?
Especially since she's not there.
Yeah.
It's a ghost.
16 on the seeing roll.
16 on the seeing roll. Okay. We don't notice anything else.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a look at this to see if there's any other reason I can think of. Yes, there is. I've spotted what the problem is. Any second now, you should be able to see everything. Has that fixed it?
That is perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I can. My character can see what I can see. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. I'll just switch off your vision to Tamara because I've literally put her in a wall, so
Sure.
you shouldn't be able to see that. But I think she's on all players. She is.
Are those piles of bones
Where?
where I'm pinging?
I don't see your ping. Oh, there. Yes, those are piles of bones.
That's a lot of bones.
That
Say
is a
what you
lot
say.
of bones, isn't it?
You know what it is?
Mm.
It's an underground disco. It's a charnel house. It's a bit vampire and gothic. You know?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Marie, Kev, and I are in the corner there playing some arguing about which Sisters of Mercy album's the best.
Isn't it about time you played
It's Floodland, by the way, if anybody's wondering. I will fight anyone who argues otherwise.
I'm going to fly lower and get a look at this chest.
Okay, you're going to fly lower and get a look at that
Mhm.
chest. Okay. The chest is well and truly embedded in the calcified build-up. So there's absolutely no doubt in your mind that at some point water has been dripping down from above onto this. The same kind of water that causes flowstones and stalagmites and stalactites.
Yes.
Which means whilst the chest is currently underneath the open area of the sinkhole, at some point that area must have been covered to cause this. The calcification looks quite old, so it looks like it's been there a long, long time. And what else can I tell you from a general look at it?
Is it covering the part that opens? Is it covering the lid?
I don't believe it is, but I'll just have a quick look.
Okay.
No, it's not covering the lid.
Okay. Am I facing the side with the lock?
You are facing the
indeed-
side with the lock, yes.
Right. Is it an integrated lock or is it a padlock?
Okay, it is a integrated lock.
Okay. Can I tell by looking through the crack between the lid and the body of the chest as to whether it's locked?
Make a perception roll.
Right. Seeing?
Perception seeing, please, yes. It's quite a difficult thing to tell in the relative dark.
21 with 6 points of stuns.
Right, okay, that would do it. Yes, it's locked.
Right, okay, fair enough. Let's see. And for those 6 points of stuns, if I may.
Make a perception hearing roll as well, if you would.
Ooh, okay. Now, at this point, do I use the Hawk's hearing? Because I don't
Yes.
think it has. I don't think it has the focus that I've got.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
Yes.
But yes, is the answer.
It's only intelligence that you use, like your own base stats, isn't it?
That's right.
Right. So this is just a perception roll then. The perception of 3.
Okay, let's just take a look.
However, that is 20 with 5 points of stuns.
Ah, okay. I don't seem to have. Oh, right, okay, it's down there. Yes, that's enough. You can hear the occasional. I don't know if you're going to hear this on the mic, but. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that you doing a kind of dripping noise?
It is, yes.
I assume you're sort of flicking your cheek and opening your mouth simultaneously.
Absolutely, yes. And funnily enough, that hurt me more than I expected. I obviously stronger than I thought.
be fair, I would not want you to flick me in the cheek.
I am
Right.
quite sizable, I must admit.
Well, I've seen pictures, and no, I'm not messing with you.
It's funny, most people don't in person.
Yeah.
Right, so yes, you can hear that occasional. The thing is, you can't see anywhere where there's water dripping.
Oh,
Which is
check
why I
the
felt it
ceiling.
was worth bringing up.
Check the ceiling of like any overhanging area of this. I get the suspicion something is salivating while looking at me, and
Okay, looking up with some nervousness, you notice that the ceiling's it seems quite high from here. Even though you
Yeah.
flew down here in the first place, you didn't get quite the sense of just how tall this room, this cavern is, till you were down in it looking up. You can't see anything on the ceiling except some stalactites that are too far away to be a worry. You can't see anything dripping either, but somewhere over here you get ripples
see
in the
where-
water
sorry, I can't see where you're pinging. Sorry.
to the sort of southeast of you.
Now I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
There's just the occasional ripple in the water that's rippling outwards, almost as if something's dripping into it, but you can't quite see anything dripping into it. It's got you puzzled.
Are the center points of the drips getting closer?
Do you know they are?
Bye.
Okay, I'm going to move you back onto the map with the others then. There you go. You should all be together now.
Right.
It's taken me a
So-
while to cross back onto that previous map. There we go. We've got it. So
Is
you
that him over there, or is that just another bird?
over where? What, sorry?
That was me. That was in character. I was.
Oh, right, sorry.
Given that we've been looking for Kerj because he flew off on his own.
He did just fly off on his own. You can see him coming back. Well, you can see a bird coming back now. Given that it seems...
Good job it's not going to be lunch, isn't it? Because they might shoot it.
Yes. So he flaps back towards you.
Do you remember? Can still turn into a bison.
The castle, yes.
30
I will
feet
allow
up in
you
the air.
guys to roleplay the encounter with Kerj
Then I
and
land on you.
his having done his reconnaissance.
Right. What I'm going to attempt to do is, with a claw in the dirt, is to describe what I saw down there.
Was the child down a well?
Okay. Kerj the hawk is now trying to draw something in the ground with a claw. Meanwhile, Quoth the raven is like sat in a tree above watching and just shaking its head.
Morg is in serious art crit mode here, by the way.
Yes. Mog is like, that's terrible, the perspective's all wrong. They call that art. Just thinking, it's not supposed to be art, is it? It's just supposed to be a general map.
Kerj is thinking this is just another day with these assholes. Endless criticism and sarcasm. If my fucking village hadn't been eaten by vampires, I wouldn't even be here.
Okay, so eventually you all get the impression that he seems to be drawn an island inside something else. Inside something else. So you
It's a
assume
giant
it's
footprint.
island, lake, and then cave. There's definitely a path off, like a corridor or passage off to the west. There's a large sort of beach area down there as well, more to the sort of northeast, and he's got some squiggles in the southeast area of the lake that look suspiciously like he's drawn like question marks and skulls and crossbones.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Can't ask him the question about does the beach extend all the way round to the passageway?
You can't, because as long as he's in hawk form, it can't actually tell you the answer.
Hang on. I can still understand their language. Yes?
You can understand, but you can't speak. I suppose you could write.
I can answer yes or no. I can move my head up and down. I can gesture.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, so you can
Twice
ask him.
once for yes and twice for no.
No, yeah. You can ask him any yes/no questions, but he can't answer more complicated questions.
Okay.
So
that would be the question. Does the beach extend round to the passageway?
Right. Okay. So Brian, this was the beach. Yes. I'm having to remember what I saw now.
Right. The beach extends round to the passageway, but it doesn't extend right the way around the whole lake. The beach is the north and the west, but doesn't cover the south and the east.
All right. So is it possible we could throw a rope down and climb down into this hole?
Yes, absolutely you could.
And where would be the best place to secure a rope? One of these trees? Do we have enough distance?
You can measure the distance and have a look. You'd need 30 meters down into the thing. Your ropes, I believe, are. You'd best check actually.
I've got 15 meters worth of rope.
15 meters, right? Okay, so you're going to have to tie some ropes together to get all the way down, I think.
Yeah, I've got 20 yards of rope.
Yeah. Okay.
So I could use 2 of them.
Sorry, I have misremembered. It's actually 15 meters from the ceiling to the island.
Oh, I can do that with mine then.
Yeah.
Actually, mine the rope ladder, not rope.
Ah, yes, they are. That's why.
So we could actually tie a rope to the tree, the rope ladder to the rope, and dangle the rope ladder down.
Yes.
And make it easy to climb.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
I probably don't need to use it myself, because I assume that my spidery tattoos will help me get down the rocks a little easier anyway.
Now then, yes.
What's up, Kerj? Kerj, what are you doing? What do you mean?
Danger, Timmy. The danger.
Whilst you're trying to work out why Kerj is tapping and cawing, and clearly trying to get your attention, I'll answer Louise's question. Yes, you can climb round the rocks using your spider tattoo. However, the sinkhole, there's no wall. I don't know how to describe this. The sinkhole's like directly above the cavern beneath. There's not a smooth
effectively
wall
the
down.
walls are.
Yeah, but there's water in the bottom of that, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the tattoo I picked the last time I leveled up lets me breathe in the water.
Ah, right, okay. That's quite handy. What you could do with your spider tattoo as well, of course, is you can climb along ceilings as well.
Yeah.
So you can go down the hole, then scuttle along the ceiling, and then down the wall. But there's no
I'll do that.
direct wall from the hole.
There's no wall at the whole edge.
That's
it's
right, there's no
effectively
wall at the
it's
whole edge.
like a dome with a hole in it.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly. See, he
Like a
described
hole in
it
the
dead
roof.
easy, and I just couldn't find the words.
It's like having a hole in a roof that's not in. It's in the middle of the room.
Middle of the roof, yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, so that's how you intend to get down. Kerj is obviously distressed about something, so all you can really pick up is he's suggesting something down there may be dangerous.
Don't look. You don't want us to look?
Something hiding in the dark.
Something loud and blind.
Sounds
How
totally...
many words? Show us what's happening. How many words?
Is it a book? Is it a film? Is it a play?
So it's currently
There's a blind
pointing to
elf
Aldoran.
out there? There's a blind elf with a bird on his head.
Sounds totally bats to me.
So Aldoran now has Kerj in his hawk form sat on his head. Hopefully he'll stop tapping, because he would be tapping on your skull at this point if he did.
You know what I'm going to sing? Seagulls, stop it now.
So, I'm currently on a different map to you because I was just setting a few things up, so I'm going to come back.
Well, should we go over and have a look down the hill?
You can do, yeah. If you head over to the hole, you can see on this map roughly what you can see by peering down the hole. You can see a little bit extra. You can see that the hole is definitely in the middle of the roof of the cave down there, which is much more extensive than the hole itself would suggest. It's about 15 meters down. Obviously, Kerj and Quoth can just fly down there. We know that Mog can scuttle down there. That only really leaves Aldoran and Tamara. Now, we know from past experience that Tamara's a really good climber. And you have secured the rope and the
Ladder.
ladder. Thank you. Yes. So, could you just ping which tree you've secured the rope ladder to, please?
Hold on. I would say this one.
That one there. Right, you are.
Because it's the shortest distance going across to the hole.
It does appear to be about the shortest distance, doesn't it? So I'm just going to measure that.
These green things, are these like moss or something? Or?
Yes. Yeah, that's moss.
It's a vampire in moss form.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 7 meters worth of the ladder is just going across the ground to get there.
Well, no, that's going to be rope.
That's the ropes first and then the ladder, yeah?
Yeah, so we're going to do double length of rope effectively securing the ladder, and the ladder's going to be from the edge down over to the rocks.
Right, you are. So that, yes, you would come out actually above the rocks rather than above the island if you use that method. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, that would seem reasonable to me.
Okie
the only thing is, I can't move my token on this map.
On this map here, you can't.
Yeah.
It's alright, you're about to change maps anyway. So, as long as it works on the next one, we'll be fine. So, because of the method you've used, where you've double secured a rope ladder and then you're climbing down the rope ladder, there's literally no risk that you're going to fall off that rope ladder. So you've managed to get by the first hazard, well, technically the second, because there was a risk you could have wound up being under attack by Huel if things had not gone so well in the first scene. So I'm going to give the party... sorry?
Hang on.
This is why I always have pockets full of food.
Yes. I'm going to give the party 50 experience points for this. As you're preparing to go down, though, once again, Kerj the Hawk, rather, seems to be becoming quite distressed.
Each trying to say it's dark down there. Flap once for yes and twice for no. Can he understand us in this form?
He can understand you. He doesn't have vocal cords, so he can't. He's pecking at the branches.
Right. So in that case, what he wants us to do is to make some steaks out of the trees.
Oh, you want a salad?
You want a salad?
No, we're gonna whittle some steaks before we go for.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. So you whittle a few steaks. I'm going to say. Springs happily. That clearly was what he was trying to say. So I'm going to say you've made enough steaks for each of you to be carrying 2. Should be enough, shouldn't it?
I don't know. I'd like to have 3.
Okay, we'll call it 3. There's enough trees here to tear enough branches off to produce as many as you like. Bearing in mind it's only about late lunchtime, early afternoon. We could
have been eating goat stew at this point.
Yeah, depending on how long you want to spend here, you can make a few. Right, Kerj is also gathering seeds in his beak. I've got a suspicion I know why.
Yeah, I understand that
as
well.
Okie dokie. So,
anybody else got any like bags of marbles or any of that type
I've
of
got quite a lot of salt.
I've got some salt.
That would work, wouldn't it?
Tell you what, I'm
If
going to
we're-
quickly
if we're
pay a
the same
visit. If
place,
you
yeah.
guys want to assemble your plan for anything you might want to grab before you go down, I'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, grabbing a few seeds and what have you might be worth having.
This is the Count Von Count plan, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got salt. Lots of
Yeah,
salt.
it's the American election plan. Stop the count.
Who's
Yeah.
the pirate vampire? The Count. He doesn't count. I assure you he does.
As long as it's not a Scooby-Doo moment, it's not really a vampire. It's somebody pretending to be one.
It's that guy back there in a rubber mask.
Yeah, it's Mr. Wilson.
And he would have gotten away with it too.
There's a wonderful fan theory about the universe in which Scooby-Doo takes place. The fact that everywhere they go, it's all dilapidated and run down, that the economy is absolutely broken, and the only way anybody can make money is by trying to scam people. You know,
Interesting.
it's this kind of post-apocalyptic hellscape.
Yeah, not the more recent Scooby-Doos though.
No, this is the
original,
the
like the
classic
70s,
classic 70s
80s
stuff. Yeah.
Where they changed the theme music.
Scooby-Doo, where are you?
There's bits where there are things like ghostly hands and things that wouldn't make sense for a person to be able to do.
There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense in
There was
Scooby-Doo.
like the flying fan under the table. How does it like a drone?
Okay, sorry about that.
But it's cheats.
So, first of all, I'm going to give Glyn 25 experience points for the idea about making some stakes from the local trees, and an additional 25 experience points for role-playing a raven trying to explain that to people. Hawk, sorry, a hawk.
So we had 50 for the group, then another 50 for me. Was that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Lovely. I can put 100 on that. That's fantastic. Easy maths.
I do try and like to keep the math as easy as possible.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've grabbed some stakes, 3 each. You've grabbed some seeds. Is there any other preparation anyone's doing before they start clambering down?
There's no wild garlic kicking about.
There's no wild garlic kicking about, I'm afraid, no.
And we didn't see any on the way.
You didn't know.
I'm just gonna just very quickly give my axe a little bit of a sharpen.
Right, yes, you're going to sharpen your axe in the hopes of being able to decapitate an undead as quickly as possible. 25 points. And then you begin your descent into the...
Kerj the Hawk Kerj the Hawk was doing another thing, but I think you might have missed it in the text.
Oh, I might have done.
Digging.
Lands on Aldoran, spreads wings, gathers seeds, and digging. Right, okay.
Yes, at the rib cage, just to.
Right,
well,
you find the rest of the bones, sort of shallow buried underneath the. Not so much buried; it's more like just like over time, Earth's covered the rest, which extends how long you think it's been there, because it's now gone from since the summer to several years.
Right.
Okay, now everybody should be able to see themselves in the caves downstairs now.
Yep.
Is the dripping still happening in the same location?
Make a perception seeing roll or a perception hearing roll. One or the other, you can choose which.
I currently can't see anything.
You currently can't see anything, right? Okay, let's just.
Do you need to zoom out? Because I loaded on a black bit initially.
It might be that. I'll just double check.
Yeah, but
no, it's her vision was turned off.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
See now? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it seems right.
Okay, so you're clambering down. The climb is safe because of the method you used, and you used a rope ladder rather than ropes. Um, the hole itself opens to this cavern, which is some 15 meters or so above, beneath the hole. Yeah, I managed to get around that. Okay, that's about it. I'll try that again with my teeth in. That's about it. So it's darkish down here, but you're getting quite a lot of light. You can see the deeper you go in through what appears to be the only passageway, the darker it's going to get. Kerj has warned you that there are some bones up there, and he seems to be like eyeing this area of the water enough that it makes the rest of you suspicious. So I'll give you all a perception seeing roll. Okay, what I should probably do is bring up there.
Yeah, got a high roll.
Hey, let's close the key for now. Open this. Make sure that Whisper's on. And roll. Ah, no, that's still. Oh, they do get. Yeah, they do get plus 2. Okay, who got above 12?
Me.
Me.
Okay, those of you, you got 12. That'll do as well. In that case, all of you have noticed something. There is definite disturbance in the water, roughly where Kerj was looking. Oops, it is. It's moved.
Oh.
That, which is not what I meant to do at all. What I meant to do instead is this.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yes. So what appears to be happening is that there are some corpses in the water bobbing towards you. I'll say it's some because there's more than one.
Lovely. Oh, they're twins.
Choose. There we go. Bosh. And they all appear to be facing the wrong way, so they're bobbing backwards. Right.
One of them, they're horrible floaters.
Yes. Now then, how many of you scored above 15?
Me.
Me.
Right.
No.
Bobbing is definitely not the right term. Those of you who scored above 15 notice. Swimming is more the term, you would think.
Great.
So these things are rotting, bloated, water-filled corpses that are swimming towards those of you who've just descended into the area. And I think you probably know what I'm about to ask you.
Yep.
Could I have initiative rolls from everybody,
no.
please?
It's
Remember
gonna
to
be that
click
type of
on
thing.
your character token and then make the roll in the character sheet, and that'll put it straight in the turn order for me.
Yeah, that's still weird when it doesn't add the focus in there.
Yeah.
It has the right number.
Yes, it is a bit odd, isn't it? Okay, so we drowned. Thingies. Initiative. Okay, so the only one that hasn't gone straight into the what's her name is Nell's. Did you roll your initiative, Nell?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Ah, okay. If you have too much bother, just let us know and I'll... I think that's it. Oh, no, it's not.
Okay, yes, no.
So it should be on your character sheet. I'll just make sure that it's... looks like it's got it. No, it still hasn't. There you go. That's it, 12.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, I'll just order that in the right order. Descending, and the first person to act is Aldoran the elf.
At this point, it's I'm going to stand there on the rocks and shoot with a name, if that's allowed.
Yes, that's
At the
allowed.
nearest one.
Because they're still in water, that's standing them in good stead. That's given them 2 points of cover, so their defense goes up as a consequence. So you are needing an 11 or better to hit them.
Okay.
So Aldoran takes careful aim, knocks an arrow, releases it in the general direction of these swimming corpses, and
Didn't really need to aim, but
didn't really need aim. Hits the first one square in the neck. If you'd like to roll the damage.
40.
Bloody hell. Right. So,
Oh, that's if its dexterity is lower than a 4.
its dexterity is -1. So yes,
Oh, okay.
they're not terribly dexterous, these creatures. They do have 4 points of natural armor, though, or supernatural armor. I suppose.
So they're not exactly swimming. They're more like I don't know, wallowing.
Yes, sort of wading, half treading water, I think is probably the way. So you've shot it through the neck. That seems to have done some considerable damage, but it's difficult to tell with the undead. Kerj to go.
Right, I'm going to fly above their heads and attempt to distract them, sort of just out of arm's reach, but to distract them away from the group.
Okay, so you're going to attempt to distract them. Let's think now.
That'd be like a taunt or something.
It'll be very similar to a taunt. Let's use those rules, shall we? I know technically taunt is a stunt, but we can apply the same rules. So, can I have a communication deception roll from Kerj versus a willpower self-discipline from the beasties?
Things.
And they will each need one, so...
Communication, you say?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I'm whispering these rolls so you don't know whether you've seen all of them or whether there's more.
And definitely deception, not open to persuasion?
Not open to persuasion, no.
Neither you or them, apparently.
Well, exactly. So you've scored 8, so that's ignored you, gone for you. Right. So one of them has stopped and is just jumping out of the water, flailing madly trying to grab you. But it just can't because you're just too high for it, you hope.
Yeah.
If it comes out of the water like a rocket, you'll get a fright though. So that's one of the undead beasties will have to stay behind to try and catch you. And Nell, it's Tamara to go. What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm sticking up my longbow and shooting the closest one to us.
Okay, that's the one that's already got an arrow in its neck. You take your longbow, knock a arrow, and twang, make a roll, see if you hit it. And Tamara scores 11, which I think is exactly what you need to hit it while it's in the water. It is. So you've hit it. You can now click the damage button for your longbow.
And you
Let's
got
see
2
how
stun
much
points.
damage you do. And you do have 2 stun points, which I almost overlooked. So I'll just pop up the combat stunts list for you. There you go. You can pick up to 2 points worth of stunts as well. And while you're deciding, I will apply the damage. And there actually isn't going to be any because it's absorbed it through the bits of rotting flesh. It doesn't.
However, if you want to hurt it, you should do a mighty blow, I would say.
Literally, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Roll another
'cause-
1d6 then, and that will definitely apply straight to it because the
'cause- Yeah, you're not gonna knock it prone. It's in the water
yeah.
Yeah.
and it's undead, so
Okay, that's
gonna
3 points
not
of
really do anything.
damage. So that
That's-
shot actually did manage to catch part of something it kind of needed. So it's gone through. I'm going to say it's where the shoulder and chest kind of combine, and it's gone through there. You hear a crack as one of the bones in that area breaks as the arrow juts out the back of it. So you have done some damage to it after all. And it is Mog of the Bright-Eyed Clan to go next. What would you like to do?
I would like to aim my gun at this guy.
Right.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
So you're all ganging up on the same poor defenceless undead. Ooh,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, that's missed my +1 as well there, because I am.
Okay, you level your flintlock at the approaching drowned man, and with a loud report, boom, which echoes through the caverns. Woof, poof, boom, poof. The smoke billows out of the back. The bullet hurtles straight through the drowned man. Roll the damage.
I'm gonna add my extra dice in for pinpoint because I'm assuming its dexterity is below
Yeah.
mine.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
-1. Yep.
Bloody
So
hell.
that's 12 points of damage. So only its armour has saved it there. You've hit it square in the chest. You've broken several of the ribs. If it wasn't undead, it wouldn't have that natural 4 points of armour, and that would have killed it. But it is undead. It does have that supernatural 4 points of armour, so you haven't. It's still coming at you. And it is the drowned men to go. So this one first. I'd best check how far they move. Speed 9. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's clambering out the water here, trying to get at Aldoran. That one. What comes as a bit of a surprise is this one here, which races out of the water to attack Tamara, because that's the one you hadn't seen. So I'll just multi-side, choose side, bosh. Then
Bloody
this
hell.
one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I
This
thought
one,
the count was off.
yeah. That's why I was hiding the.
Yeah, because
rolls
what it was
earlier.
hasn't worked, is going for you.
Damn, yes, I should have kept my mouth shut. Okay,
You
so
gave it
this
away,
one
Brian.
here
You
is
gave it away.
yeah, this one is crawling out of the water and over the rocks with wet slopping sounds. It's coming up towards Mog. So essentially, that's literally every one of you is under attack. However, Kerj is flying. He's trying to stay just above what he thinks the creature's reach is going to be. It can actually leap out of the water, so it still gets an attack, but Kerj's defense goes up by 2. So I'll make its attack on Kerj first. What's your defense now?
As a hawk, 14.
So that's 16 with the +2 for flying, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And the... that doesn't seem to have rolled. Go on. What has happened? Right, it's popped up something else for me for
You still got them on
no reason. It's
Whisper.
I've still got them on Whisper. Let's take them off. 13. It's failed. It comes out of the water and slashes through the air with its clawed hands. Doesn't come anywhere near Kerj, who's just like flapping his wings and getting up above it as it goes. So the next attack is against Aldoran, and it's going to attempt a claw. 11. I don't think that's liable to hit Aldoran, is it?
No.
No, there you are. The next attack against Mog then. 11. Probably a miss, Mog.
Let me just check. I think that's a miss. Yeah, that's a miss.
Okay. And the last one is attacking Tamara and scores a 10. That's definitely going to be a miss. Okay, so they've not exactly covered themselves in glory. Combat round 2, and it's Aldoran to go.
Right, I'll switch to my Short swords.
Okay. Quickly discarding your bow and drawing both short swords, you slash at the drowned man in front of you. Make an attack.
Okay. When it gets there.
And 17's an easy hit. You may go ahead and roll the damage.
Right. Quick question. Could it survive more than 6 points of damage?
Let's just have a look. Yes, it could.
Right.
But it can't survive that amount of damage. So you slash at the creature, you open its belly, all of the internal organs, which are themselves starting to rot, just slop onto the rocks and into the water, causing this muddy brown stain
Ew.
throughout the water as the corpse flops
That's
backwards.
disgusting.
This time it is floating, and it's floating away in that direction. It's dead. Dead. That would be Kerj to go next.
Right. I'm going to make an attack,
Okay.
which from flying gets a +1 apparently.
Yes.
Just
So
having looked at the flying rules.
Yes. So you swoop down against the creature, which is flapping its arms around.
Right. So when using the minor threat animal descriptions, the attack roll is literally just it's all added for you. It's the plus
Yep.
onto 3d6. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So that's 4 for a bite attack, +1 for me for the fact that I'm flying.
Right. That was the 2 hit was.
Yes, to hit is 3d6 +5.
Yeah. Okay. That's a hit. It's
Okay.
not generated any stunts, however.
Mm-hmm.
But you have swooped in with your talons outstretched and attacked it.
Right, and because my strength is so low, what I get now is 1d6 minus 2 damage.
Oh dear, right, okay.
Yes, indeed.
If it's got 4 armor,
Yes, if it's got 4 armor, you're not going to be able to get through it. So you.
Well, he wouldn't know that.
No, he wouldn't know that.
no.
So he comes down, swoops in. I mean, it's still worth making an attack because if you're stunned, then you know.
I heal him.
He comes back to life.
Yeah, and joins our side. The day is won.
Magic.
Yes, so you swoop in and slash across the creature. Kerj doesn't actually know he hasn't done any damage because he's come away with ribbons of rotting flesh attached to his talons. So as far as he's concerned, it appears that he's done some damage.
Oh dear.
You want to watch that?
I have no reason to stop doing this.
No, well, you never know. Next time you might generate stunts and you might actually do enough damage to do some damage. Okay, now it's Tamara's go. What would you like to do? Remembering one of these creatures has slopped out of the water and is attacking her in hand to hand.
Yeah, I am going to use my long swords.
Right. Okay, make an attack with a longsword. And that's an easy hit. As the creature comes in to attack Tamara, she brings her shield up for cover, slides the longsword forward over the shield, stabs the creature in the upper torso area. Roll a damage. 8 damage. That gets 4 straight past its armour. So -4 on that. So you push the short sword in and bring it back. There's dark brown oozing blood sort of slopping out of it rather than bleeding, so it's thickened up with sort of semi-clotting over time. And now I've given you that nightmare vision. It is Mog to go next.
Well, I'm going to grab my axe, forced perspective, and swing it over my head and at the zombie dead thing.
Right. Okay. And it's no longer in the water, so that's a hit.
Hey!
Just barely a hit, but it's a hit. And it's a hit with 6 stunt points. Don't forget, you still get an extra dice of damage for being having more dexterity than it has as well.
Yes, I do. Oh, I'm also going to do a little blow.
Yep. Okay. So that's an additional 3 dice of damage in
3
total.
dice of damage.
Yeah.
And if it might, oh, actually no, I might. Yeah, no, actually, if it manages to survive this, I would like to skirmish it backwards 2 yards as well.
Right. Okay. Roll the
But we'll
damage
see if
first, and then we'll see.
Yeah.
There's a good chance there is a chance you may kill it with this blow. I'm not saying good chance. That'll immediately jinx it. And okay, you heft force perspective above your head, swing it down with all your force, and slam it into the side of the creature's head from above. So you've cleaved off one ear, shaved the skull itself, broken the jaw, hit into the clavicle on that side as well. You've done catastrophic amounts of damage, and again, it's only the supernatural armor effect that stopped it from being killed outright. So if you'd like to ping the square you push it back to, please. Oh, back into the water, back there. Right you are. It goes staggering back, it slips off the rocks and splash with a loud, resounding splash into the water. This foul water from the blood and ooze of the other one sprays everywhere. Just missing Mog because she's too far back. Probably showering Aldoran though.
Sorry, bud.
I'll make an acrobatics roll to move out of the way.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, by all means. Make the roll. See if you get out of the way.
Or a dexterity roll as well.
Yeah.
Dodge
And
this.
funnily enough, I'm actually going to give you 25 experience points for that, because I feel that an elf not wanting to get showered in muck in his nice clean adventuring clothes just feels like a good piece of roleplay. That's the kind of thing an elf would want to avoid, so I'll give you 25 experience points for that, because I'm feeling generous today. So that
Would 15 do it?
15 will do it, yes. You've dodged back out of the way. You're kind of dodging this splattering brownish muck.
It's like Neo in the Matrix.
Yes, absolutely.
Blood splatting across the top.
Back round to the drowned men. So first of all, the one that is attempting to attack Kerj, he's dived down to attack it this time. So it launches itself out of the water and attempts to bite Kerj out of the air, bringing its sharp brown teeth together with some considerable force, and it's actually hit him and stunted.
Or has it?
Oh no.
We haven't got a fate mage.
You don't have a fate mage, so it definitely has. I'm
We
just
have
going to
Nell.
see what its preferred stunts are. Drown is its preferred stunt. That will take 4 of them, so I'm going to have to look Drown up. It's a specialist stunt. So, drowning. The drowned dead drags the character under the water, where they must pass a Constitution stamina roll for TN 15 or suffer additional damage. So do you want to go ahead and make that TN 15 roll for me, please? That's
Yep.
Constitution stamina.
Oh dear.
Okay, that's a fail. So,
Yep.
I'm going to do the drowning damage first, which is 2d6. That's 8 points of damage.
Right. Okay.
Now I'm going to do the actual bite damage from the creature, and it's still got 2 points of additional stunts to spend as well. So it is also going to... it can't really taunt you, it's got a mouthful of you.
It could flip me off.
A mighty bite.
Could.
Knock prone.
Knock prone, I think, is... yeah, we'll do that. So it's standard damage plus a knock prone. So let's get this extra damage to you done. The bite itself did 5 points of damage.
Okay.
And that's you knocked out of the air and trapped prone under the water, which is the worst possible situation for you, really.
That seems quite thematic though, in that it's knocked you down.
Yeah.
Into the water.
That's right. It's leapt out of the water,
under.
grabbed you in its teeth, and pulled you under with it. So you're thrashing about. Your wings are splashing the water as it's still got you in its mouth. It's rolling like a crocodile to try and drown you. You're cawing and flapping your wings for all you're worth.
Yeah,
like the giant rubber crocodile in the old Johnny Wise one.
Absolutely. And it is Aldoran to go next.
Hang on a second.
Yep.
It does say that I can maintain my form until I choose to resume my normal form.
Yes.
Do I take it that's like an interrupt action?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're turning back into a bear.
Yeah, he's not. Rather than having a hawk in his mouth that he's trying to roll around like a crocodile, he's gonna try and do the same with a hunking great bear man.
Okay, so Kerj turns back into a hawk, and this very confused-looking undead now has a bear's nose in its mouth.
Surprise, motherfucker!
And with that, it's Aldoran to go.
Right. Yeah, I probably can't get a clean shot at the one. That's it, right? So I'm going to move across and hit this one.
Yeah, okie dokie. You move over to attack the one that's attacking Tamara. You take it in the rear.
Yeah.
Not sure I meant to phrase it like that. You take it from people. No, that's no better. You attack it from behind. Okay, that's a hit. A very good hit. 3 points of stunts.
It's going to have to be the extra damage.
Okay.
I think. At this point, an extra dice worth of damage.
Good God. Right, that's 15 points of damage. That's 11 that gets through its supernatural armour. So you thrust
I'm going to skirmish it back.
Okay.
To this square, not in the water.
That square, not in the water. Right, you are. You thrust your sword up through its back and pull it out. It kind of turns half in surprise, and you just push it backwards. It staggers backwards under the weight of the force of your push, combined with the injury it's just suffered to its back. Staggering backwards. And it is Kerj, the once again bear, to go next.
Okay. Casting minor beast form.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Lesser beast form, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Bearing in mind you're still underwater and prone.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I see what you're planning. Okay, that's an easy pass. Take off the mana and change to whichever form you would like. I'm going to have to look something up, aren't I?
It's not on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Shark.
Right, okay, so
not a baby one.
No, it's a berry one. Berry shark.
You change into a shark, because that's what you want to do, is change into a saltwater predator in a freshwater environment.
Seriously?
However, for the time
well, hang on. I'm a druid. I'd know that. Hang on.
You would know that. If you would like to choose something different, you can. Bear in mind, the fresh water won't do the shark any harm for a short period of time.
Yes.
Crocodile.
It will do.
Crocodile is the other option. Yeah. That is a fair point, and I've learned something out of character. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Croc. Okay then.
Crocodile, alligator.
Croc. I've spelt that wrong. That's probably why that's not. Okay, so I know there are crocodiles in here because I did a swamp full of them not that long ago.
I was going to say that's a very small one.
Not anymore. There we go.
I would say crocodiles are probably more versatile than sharks in shallow water.
Yeah, and also you'd be able to crawl out of the water with that as well.
That is a point indeed. Yes.
One other thing, I would never describe a crocodile as crawling. Even though it's on all fours, they can run at you.
They can actually run.
And
Yeah.
and they can jump out the water like 20 feet into the air, snatch things out of trees. They they really don't. They're nasty.
Okay.
I don't have control of the crocodile yet.
You should have.
No.
You know,
Yeah,
you do now.
they may look like they move slow. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. And if you would just like to put a prone under water marker on for me, so that we know they've still got that. Okay. So
Hang on. What's the water marker for?
to show that you're under the water.
I'm a crocodile.
That's a very good point. Don't bother applying the water marker, because you're not going to be taking any drowning damage now.
Yeah.
So just the prone marker, and is lesser beast form a major or minor action to cast?
Oh, very much a major action.
Okay, so that's you done for the round.
I have a minor action.
You can take
Got
the
it, prone.
prone off if you want.
Yes.
Okay, so you take the prone off your crocodile form. I'll take the prone off your bear form that's currently stored in the wall, just to be out of the way. And it is Tamara to go next. What would you like to do now?
Okay, I'm going after the Walking Dead
The drowned
who
man,
yeah.
Okay, well from that
Yeah, that's
distance
fine.
you can charge it, which means you get +1 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Yes.
you would just like to roll to attack.
Hang on.
So
It's
as it
taking a while.
staggers backwards under the force of Aldoran's attack, you follow it up, charging in, you hit it very convincingly, roll the damage. Okay. Okay, so that's 4 points of damage. That's actually not going to get through. That's twice you've rolled 4. That's a very low roll for your sword, but I've checked and it is rolling both dice. It just doesn't seem to like you today, I'm afraid. So you run forward, you slash it across the chest. Again, the flesh appears to burst open. So as far as you can tell, you've done some damage, but in point of fact, it doesn't really harm the drowned man. And Mog to go next.
Can I charge from up here, or are the rocks going to be an issue?
You can charge from up there, because I'll take it as a leap.
Right, okay, hold on. Oh, it's doing that thing with the whole map moves. Come on, work for me. Right, I'm gonna charge towards this guy and try and finish him off.
Right. You take a couple of steps down the rocks and leap with your axe, forced perspective, above your head, coming down heavily onto the drowned man, bellowing in rage this orcish battle cry. You bury the axe deep into the creature. 3 points of stunts, and you get to roll damage.
Hey. I don't know why I'm humming the Muppets theme under my breath.
Well, it's not easy being green.
Oh, why not?
Ooh, can I make a lightning attack on the other guy?
Yes, you can.
Excellent.
So roll the damage against the one that Tamara's fighting first. And then we'll
I
make
just
the
need to
attack
remember to
against
put
the
in my extra dice there.
Ooh, I think you might have killed it.
Hey!
Yeah, you have. Okay, so you jump down and bury your axe deep in the creature's body. It cleaves the body itself right across, and the top half of the body just slides off and flops onto the ground. The bottom half remains standing for just a split second and then just falls over with a wet thwack onto the ground. You barely notice that, because as you do it, you're spinning round with your axe to bring it into the back of the other one that you attacked last round. So you can make an attack against that.
Yep.
That's also a hit. Go ahead and roll the damage. $20 damage. I think it's safe to say you've just killed that one as well. Bloody hell. Right, okay. So you bury your axe square in its back, and it just topples into the water and bobs away. Very dead. Drowned men to go. There's literally only one left, with Mog having killed 2 in one go, like the berserk orc artist that she actually is. And so the last one is the one that's, were it alive, it would be very surprised by this bizarre turn of events. Because it grabbed a hawk, which immediately turned into a bear, which immediately turned into a crocodile.
Is it a bird? Is it a bear? No.
It's a crocodile. Are you sure?
You don't know what it is. But now you're dead. Even more than you were before.
So it's going to attempt to claw at this crocodile it's now locked in mortal combat with. And I don't know the defense of a crocodile off the top of my head, but I'm willing to bet that's a hit.
The defense is 10.
Yep, that's a hit. It's a hit with 5 points of stunts. It doesn't know what the hell a crocodile is. It has no idea that its drown stunt has no effect. So it wastes 4 stunt points trying to drown you. And 1 knocking you prone. Actually, it can't. That would have cost it 2. It doesn't get a bonus on knock prone. So it just wastes its stunt points on something that's never going to do you any harm, but it doesn't know any better.
Actually, if I'm submerged, that means I get dexterity stealth.
Yes,
so
you do.
Give me a bonus.
You also, however, do take 4 points of claw damage minus whatever a crocodile's armoured hide gives it.
Oh, that's a point.
Yeah,
Tough.
two
natural armor of 4. Thank you very much.
4, right? Okay, so this drowned man is fruitlessly wrestling with a crocodile. This very much looks like some bizarre undead Tarzan scene as it's wrestling with this crocodile, trying to drown it because it's too stupid to know that it could. Well, technically it could, if it can hold you under long enough, because crocodiles can't actually breathe underwater. They can just hold the breath for quite a while. So it's not going to have an effect on you this round. If it does a drown stunt again next round, then you'll take the damage for that.
Okay.
Never interrupt the enemy when he is making a mistake.
Absolutely.
It's a quote from the Art of War.
It is Sun Tzu, yes. Do you know I got my copy of Sun Tzu from not Waterstones, from a bookshop in Durham anyway, and I found it in the art section.
Art of War.
Because it's called Art of
Well,
War, yes,
can't
exactly.
argue with that.
Technically, it should be in the philosophy section.
Yeah, it should be under philosophy. Okay, so Shaun, it's Aldoran to go next.
I take it I can't get a clean shot at the crocodile. No, I mean the drowned man, not the crocodile. Duh, what am I saying?
You can get a shot at him, but not a clean one. There is a risk you would hit Kerj the crocodile, yes.
To be fair, and I've got to say this in the interests of being even-handed, do you know I can turn into a crocodile, and do you realise that's me?
He knows he can turn into a crocodile because he's seen you turning into other animals. He
Fair.
probably from that have a suspicion that's you.
Well, there's somebody fighting a drowning man, and I've got dark vision anyway. So, and it looks like one of the other creatures that we've just butchered over this side.
Yeah.
So, I am reluctant. Well, I'm going to go back over and pick up a bow anyway.
Right. Okay.
'Cause that's where I left it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hang fire for now.
Okay. You pick up your bow and try to decide what to do. If you did decide to take that shot, because they are in close combat and the crocodile is larger than a drowned man, any missed roll that would generate stunts had it been a hit will hit the crocodile.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
No, I thought you might not. Okay, Kerj to go.
Right, I'm going to bite him.
Okay, give it a go. His defense in water is slightly better than out. However, he loses that because your attack in water, you're used to attacking things in water. His bonus to defense is not going to apply. So it's 9 or better to hit him.
Okay.
Okay, 16. That's an easy hit. The crocodile's jaws clamp shut on the drowned man. Make the damage roll.
2d6 plus 4.
Just wait till he learns how to turn into a dinosaur.
Yes. I don't think they're considered a minor threat.
No, I need the next level spell to do major.
I'm just going to have to move you so I can get at the drowned man and then take 8 off his hit points and then move you back over. There you go. So you clamp your jaws into the into the drowned man's side. You can feel segments of rotted flesh tearing off into your mouth. Suddenly you're not so keen on this because it tastes really, really horrible, as you can imagine. However, you've done quite a bit of damage to the thing, and it is Nell, it's Tamara to go. Currently, all the other drowned men are deceased, and the only one left is way out in the water.
Okay. I'm going to make my way to the edge of the water, closer to where Kerj is fighting it, and I'm going to basically try to distract the drowned man.
Okay. I'm going to give that the same thing as we did when he tried to do it. We're going to call it a taunt. So, if you could make a communications roll for me. If you've got deception listed as a focus under communications, click that. If not, just click communications. And that'll be against the creature's willpower self-discipline, but it'll get a bonus because it's already in combat. So, it has to roll higher than an 8 to just ignore you. I think it's got this, but we'll soon see.
Then rolls triple 1.
Yeah. I'm adding 2 because it's already in combat. I'll have to do that manually. Yeah, it's ignoring you completely.
Nah.
Doesn't care. Too worried about this big lizard thing that it's encountered. So, Mog, you to go.
How far away is this guy? Well, given that I have a brand new tattoo that lets me go underwater as though it wasn't really water,
Yes.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to stroll right over to this guy and attack him with my axe.
Right you are. Activating your tattoo.
Fish mark.
Fish mark. Is that a minor action?
I didn't think to check that. Give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Bless my husband there. Where is it? Fish mark. It doesn't say.
Okay, does it say anything about the tattoos in general?
The mark.
I can. Is this in the companion set?
Your body is host to numerous enchanted markings, scars, or tattoos. Your tattoos, scars, and other body modifications have been enchanted to provide exceptional abilities.
Right, so they don't require an activation action.
Doesn't appear to.
Oh, right, okay. That's
Always on.
Important. Yeah. Okay, so
your
minor action was to wade out there, then, and the tattoo just handles that itself. So you do still have enough actions to attack, yes?
Yeah. Cool. Let me flip back to the right page. See, now, this is interesting because I'm walking and I'm breathing and everything fine underwater, but does my axe move slower? I don't know.
I'm going to say no, because I'm going to say you're bringing the axe out of the water and down, rather than trying to swing side to side, which would cause the drag. Because its head is only just beneath the water, so there's not enough water there to cause the drag. And that's a 9 to hit, which is exactly what you needed. So you can go ahead and roll the damage. And that's 17 points. That's really weird.
It says suffer no penalties to operate underwater and
Yeah.
move at your normal speed when swimming.
Fair enough. What's really weird?
That's the third time you've made an attack in this combat that would have killed the creature if it wasn't for its armor, and has only left it with the 4 hit points. Literally the third time that exact situation has come about. So you bring the axe down on the creature's skull. The skull cracks slightly, and you've fractured the skull and shaved a part off it, but you haven't completely spilled its brains out into the water, which would have finished it off. It is the drowned critter to go, and it's now torn between making an attack against the crocodile and making an attack against the orc. I'm going to make it the crocodile because that's what it's been fighting. So it's going to attempt a claw. And that's a miss. Okay. Right. So Aldoran to go.
Yeah. I'm going to go and stand over here by the passage.
Okay.
And keep an
Standing
eye
over
out.
there by the passage, you're keeping an eye out up there. What you can see is a large number of bones and piles of some sort of brownish yellowy stuff. The stench of ammonia coming off it is making your eyes water.
Guano.
Yeah, probably. In fact, definitely, really. That would be Kerj next then.
Yep.
Kerj, who has now finally gotten to grips with this idea of things in the world trying to kill him.
And taking on the form of those things and doing it back.
Yes. That's a hit.
Oh, and no, I'm not flying. I don't get a +1.
No, you don't. That's 7 points of damage. So that's left it with 1. So, essentially, Kerj spins in the water with this thing still trapped in its mouth and tears more sections of flesh off it. Exactly the way crocodiles do kill the prey as they grip and then spin really quickly to cause things to tear off. That's what you're doing. You've torn large chunks off the creature. It's still not dead yet, but it's as close as it's going to get without actually dying. So, Nell, it's Tamara to go. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna head into the water and give a hand.
Okie dokie. Can I have a, is it strength that swimming comes under or dexterity? I just can't remember. Let's have a quick check.
I think swimming's dexterity, I
I
believe.
think
but
it might be. It's not actually, oddly enough.
Is it
So
strength?
let's try strength.
I've got swimming under dexterity on my character sheet.
Ah, it must be then. It's just been missed off this crib sheet. Okay, click the word swimming then and see what you get. 13. Yep, this is an easy swim for you. So you get in the water and swim out to where the fight is going on. And I'll just move you there. There you go. You can make an attack as normal. Hello, what's going on there? Don't know if that happened to anyone else, but my my Roll20 just refreshed there.
Oh, mine's 9.
No, mine's fine.
That is actually quite strange in that swimming's not mentioned on the dexterity focuses list.
Yeah. I wonder where
Sailing is, riding
Sailing
is.
yeah. I probably added that in myself when I noticed it was a very obvious miss.
Entirely
that's
possible.
why, because it's a constitution.
It's from
Focus.
Constitution. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll fix that later. I'll move it to the correct thing for you, and I'm getting a message to say that I've dropped out of thingy, but I don't actually appear to have done. So I'm just going to test something by making a roll. Tell me if you see this come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I've definitely not dropped
Right.
out then, so I don't know what it's talking about. Okay. So Tamara's managed to get over there. She's hit. She's hit with 1 point of stunts. So if you want to roll it, actually, there's no point in worrying about the stunts because well, you could fail to kill it. Roll the damage first. If you continue to roll really, really badly, that's still a bad roll for your 2 dice, but it's good enough. As you swim out, you just push your sword straight through the eye socket of the creature and kill it outright. And it's now just bobbing around in the water with a brown stain sort of swelling out around it, spreading out around it.
Lovely.
So there you go. That one's dead as well. So that's the end of the fight. You've all killed all of these creatures. You think. Make perception seeing tests just to be sure. Okay, Mog is fairly certain that there are no more.
Well, that's good. In that case, I'm going to take this opportunity to nag Kerj from running off on his own when we know there's vampires around.
Yeah.
Also, I'm doing this whilst still underwater and Kerj is still an alligator.
It looks like Tamara's decided to see everything.
Yeah, Tamara's rolled about 400 perception tests. I'll just scroll back to the first one.
I'm not sure what happened there.
I don't know. I think roll 20's playing up a little bit today. Nothing major, just a couple of
It
little
was like,
buggy things.
absolutely, and he pressed it all the once.
Yeah, it's all right though. You're still, in fact, you're all fairly convinced there's nothing here. So, a very angry orc artist is now yelling at Kerj about "Don't go off on your own in these vampire-infested things." While Kerj is a crocodile bobbing around in the water, looking back at this orc.
He's not a Chevrolet movie theatre.
Well, Kerj is going to revert to type, having been told off. He's going to cry, but he has grown up somewhat, so these are crocodile
tears.
Oh!
Right. Next thing I would suggest is there's a chest on an island.
Nom.
Yes, the island is a little bit. The island is a little bit out of the water, so you have to kind of crawl your way up, climb your way up there, haul yourselves onto the island. So it takes a little bit of energy to do it, but you do manage to get up onto the island, and you take a look at the chest that Kerj was trying to draw with his beak earlier. And the rest of you see it for the first time. The chest itself is kind of fused to the ground as this calcification has formed up around its sides and embedded it in the ground. There's literally no chance he would be able to pick this thing up anymore. It's also the iron has rusted a little bit. The iron bounds around the chest and the lock's rusted a little bit. But taking a look at it, you think it's still potentially pickable.
Can I check it for traps first?
You can make a check for traps roll. Okay, you don't see anything that looks suspicious to you.
Okay. I'm gonna try and lockpick it then, if nobody has any objections.
Okie dokie.
No.
Go ahead. I don't imagine anybody will have any objections to that.
Oh, that wasn't a great roll.
What did you get? Right, not nearly enough. No, there's just enough rust on the lock that is making it difficult.
Just crack the lock open with your axe.
That would be your next.
I'll give it a go then. Do I just
Okay.
roll it as an attack roll?
Nope, strength might.
Growling. If I can make that kind of whatever kind of noise a crocodile makes.
The hiss.
You
Okay.
growling with a lock?
I'm hissing.
You think you could bite it off?
Okay.
No, because it's an integrated lock.
All right.
I think he's
It's not a padlock.
worried about the fact that if you destroy the chest, you might damage whatever's in it. Is that you think what he's trying to get at? But you
Or is there
really
any
don't
way
see
to
much-
take the hinges off the lid or anything like that?
Not really. No, your only options to try a strength might roll at this point.
I'm gonna give it a go if nobody says anything.
Break it open.
Hiss.
You don't want to break
Do
it
we have a
open.
vote?
Is it made of wood?
Yes, but it's iron bound.
Yeah, but how good is the wood?
Not very.
So is there any way to like pick it with like a dagger to actually mutilate the wood effectively to get into it?
Yeah, okay, I'll say you probably
See
could.
what's
Yeah.
you know, rather than taking a big hefty swing and break it open.
Yeah.
You know, work at it.
Okay.
Work the lock with a dagger or
I'm still
whatever.
going to ask
Get
for a
more
strength might roll, but doing it this way, there's no risk of damaging whatever's inside. It will take a lot longer, though.
Who's going to do this?
Well, you're
Who's
the
got
strongest.
Okay.
Yeah, easy. You jab the dagger in, and then you just push it back like it's a crowbar, and it just bursts some of the wood apart.
Actually, got a crowbar. I forgot I had it.
You've got 2 of everything.
I genuinely forgot I had that.
So now that your dagger's got a slight bend in the end, you suddenly think, oh, you know, I could have used that crowbar I've got.
What? That ages ago.
For exactly this kind of work.
No, you can stab people around corners.
If it's one of them hooked crowbars, they're good for doing in zombies like in The Walking Dead, because you can just hook the leg.
Yes.
And then stab them through the head with the other end.
That's right. Okay, so forcing the chest open, you find a single gemstone inside. It's all that's there. There's nothing else. It's quite a large gemstone. Like, it's about the size of, if you cut a golf ball in half, that would be about the size.
Couldn't be an arcane device or anything, could it?
It could be.
What colour is it?
How do we check for that?
It is exactly the same colour as the one on the landing page.
Yeah.
Can I take a look at it before? Has Mog picked it up?
Yeah, Mog's picked it up and nothing's exploded yet.
Come here then, Trumpy, if you want to have a look at it.
Grumpy Gator.
Okay, so
if I
still
may,
mad at you for running off.
Yeah.
I will. Technically, I flew off. I will examine it in a kind of magical fashion, if I can look at it with my knowledge of the arcane.
Yeah, make an arcane knowledge roll. Arcane lore roll, rather. That's easily enough for you to recognise a mage font when you see one.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, excellent.
I touch it. Is it full?
Not full, but it does have some mana in it. So
not anymore. It doesn't.
The mage font can hold 20 mana points, but currently only has 9 in them.
I'm having that.
Right, you are. So you can make a note that you have a 20-point mage font currently empty.
Grand.
Currently with 9 points in it. Okay, so Nell's just indicated that she will be right back. So I also need to pay a quick visit to the bathroom. So if we take so do you, right? So if we take a quick bathroom break and pick up in just a moment's time when we come back, I'll mute the recording so that people can speak if they want to, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes' time.
We needed the garlic folks
So,
to stuff
welcome
on
back.
up each nostril.
Welcome back, and we are back in the game. You're still in the first of the large grottos, having just found the mage font that was locked in the chest. Now, can I have an intelligence? Can't really think of an appropriate focus, so it'll just have to be a straight intelligence roll from you all, please. Alright, Mog is definitely suspicious, and so is Kerj. Why is this mage font just being left here where anybody could find it? Yeah, in fact, it's occurred to everybody. You've all thought, this is a touch suspicious, surely.
Yep.
However, what would you all like to do now?
Shoot the mimic.
Nah, I caught you all with a mimic a couple of adventures ago. I'm not going to do it again. That was the other
I think
good
I'm probably gonna walk back over onto dry land.
Okay. You can...
I think we should keep an eye on that thing.
yeah, might be an idea. Sorry, I'm just noticing that my mic appears to be on mono rather than stereo, and I don't know why that is. Never mind. It'll have to stay that way for now, and I'll try and figure it out before the next recording. So apologies if that's a bother for anyone. Okay, so you're all heading over there. I'll just move Tamara up to catch up with the rest of you. So you're all over here next to this suspicious-looking passageway. Unlike the grotto that you're standing in, the passageway itself is only about 3 meters high. The floor is a little bit uneven, but not quite as uneven as you might expect out of a natural passage, perhaps, or natural cave, although evenness is more common in them than you might expect. So it's about 2.5 to 3 meters high, so none of you are going to have to worry too much about feeling too crowded. But what you can see is it leads back into another cave, which opens up in all directions, so it's higher than the passageway as well. But before you get there, there is this turning in the south, which is actually slightly smaller. That's only a 2 meter high passage. So, over to the place. What would you like to do?
Do you want me to have a sneak along there and have a look down that side passage?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, you can move yourself. I'll keep
to make
my
it stealth
view
roll?
on
What's
your
that?
view. Yep, if you would like to make a stealth roll, please. That sounded as if it was stones shifting or stones falling from above onto something, perhaps. Okay, so
Can I check around?
Re-rolling the 12 or 17.
Ah, yes. Took me a second to figure out why, but then I remembered what class you are and what specializations you've got. Okay, so your stealth is 17. I'm going to make a concealed roll in just a second to see. Well, I might be making a concealed roll, I might not. There might be no reason to, you're just not going to know. So, what you can see from where you are is another small cave opens up to the south if you're at the end of this passageway. That cave is sort of claustrophobic feeling in that it's only about 2 meters high at the end closest to the passageway, and then the ceiling gets, or the roof gets lower and lower and lower as it goes to the back. So to get to the south end you'd have to be like on your belly. There doesn't appear to be anything in there that you can see.
Interesting.
I think I'd struggle to get down there, actually. But there's not very much height above me.
Yeah, 2 meters is only about 6'6", so
Yeah.
You could get down the main passage itself, but you would be practically scraping your horns along the top of the thing, and then as it gets lower, you would wind up crawling long before a human did.
Yeah, that would kill any stealth that we had.
Yes.
Not that we do now anyway, but you know.
On the other hand, Kerj is currently a crocodile, and they're quite low to the ground.
He could just limbo under there.
He could practically live under there.
But there's nothing visible in there anyway.
Nope, nothing visible, no other exits, nothing of interest. It's just kind of a node.
I'm going to move up to this corner then and then look into this room.
Okay. What you see in that room is a large number of piles of bones scattered about the place. You're also fully aware of the fact that there are bats on the ceiling, clustered on the ceiling, currently sleeping. The stench of ammonia is quite strong here, and you can see large piles of guano from where you are. There are stalactites coming down from above, stalagmites growing up from the bottom as well. So yeah, it looks like a standard cave, just with a lot of bones and bats in it. Let's see.
Right. I'm going to sneak back and report what I found.
Okay, you sneak back and tell everybody else what you found. So essentially it tells you there's a large cave up ahead with a lot of bones in it, a lot of bat guano. The stench of ammonia gets very strong. You can actually smell it from here a bit. There's a lot of bats on the ceiling as well. What
Sounds fine to me.
Okay, so I don't know. Maybe if we start firing at the ceiling, we'll disturb the bats. It
Does
might
anyone
be
else
worth.
hear that really ominous rattling noise?
Yeah. It's a crisp packet. Somebody's got a crisp packet round the corner.
It's definitely stones of some description, but whether they're shifting under something's feet or whether they're falling from above, you can't tell. And you can't quite see where it's coming from.
It must be short if it's from above.
Well, it could be like deeper into, because the main cave with the bats, that's quite high. That's about 6 or 7 meters up.
Okay.
It's
Well,
just
I
a
was going to
small side one.
suggest we all hide in the side passage, as it were, and fire a gun into the cave with all the bats in, and the bats will all get disturbed and all start flying around, and they might fly out and off out the cave.
And duck backwards in, but that would probably trap us.
But the thing about that is, if all those bats are flying down that passageway, and we're in the passageway,
Yep, you're going to get a lot of
they're
bats.
going to be flapping
in the face.
around as distraction, and it's going to be relatively hard to fight whatever. Or somebody could stand in the side passage and fire a gun into the main chamber into the roof, I presume.
If somebody
yeah.
else wants to take it, they're welcome to borrow mine.
Okay.
Just give it back, unlike that little dwarf.
It's just an idea. If anybody thinks it's not a good idea, because if all those bats start swarming,
I think it's a good idea. I'm just too tall to do it myself. Is everybody still there?
I'm starting to wonder that myself.
where's Glyn?
Yeah.
Glyn, you still there? No, we appear to have lost Glyn. Do you think he knows we've can't
Glyn, are you on mute?
Are you there now?
I mean, I hear something moving. Oh,
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I don't know where you lost us, so I don't know what you know.
Right. So you've looked up this tunnel, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've looked in
looked
the
round
main
the
room
corner.
as well.
There's movement up there.
Back there now.
no.
Oh,
So,
mute.
so what's happened is I snuck up to the end here.
Mm-hmm.
Had a look in this little cave to the south. It seems to be there's a sloping roof down to the floor at the far end. It's not very big. It slopes down the roof. So it's like it starts at 2 meters at the entryway, and it's what, I don't know, 20 centimeters at the far end
Right. Okay.
at the bottom. So there's nothing in there.
Mm-hmm.
But in the main cave, once it gets up to this point, the ceiling starts to rise quite. It's into a chamber which is full of bats and bones. Now, my suggestion was that somebody hides in the side passage,
Yep.
flush
Ambush.
to the wall. No, flush to the wall, and fires a gun into the main chamber to disturb the bats so they all come flying out.
Yeah,
Now,
okay.
I can't do it because I'm too tall, but I've said that if someone else wants to do it, they're most welcome to borrow my pistol as long as they give it back, unlike a certain friend of mine.
And if we all stand flush to the walls, effectively, the bats will fly out of the sinkhole.
Mhm.
And we'll not get hit by them. And then if we're actually in a fight in that chamber, we won't have bats either peeing on us or flapping around our heads.
Making guano.
Mhm.
Okay. Hissing.
Mhm.
And then scraping into the. I suppose. Are we on like solid rock at this point, or is there any kind of give in it?
There's a little give closest to the water, but it's mostly rock, and sort of coarse rock dust.
Then
Do we have plenty of pebbles?
Yes.
Yeah. Could we put the words yes and no in pebbles
Ah, yes, you
on
could.
the floor?
Right, Shaun, for the idea about disturbing the bats, 50 points, and for the pebbles idea, you get another 25.
Fair enough. Cheers.
So
that way you've got a yes and a no, and we can ask you questions if you agree or disagree, and you can just point at whichever one it is.
So making several long straight marks with my claws, and then as best as I can, the curve of a question mark.
Okay. Anybody want to
4.
hazard a guess what that is?
Well, that says 4 question mark.
One question mark. I question this plan.
Hang on, did that work?
No, you've just
No.
got the 4 marks and a question mark, and then a 1 mark and a question mark.
Right.
Remember that they've spelled out the words yes and no in pebbles in front of you as well. So.
Ah, right. Okay. So
You can't say yes and no.
So
The idea is to clear the cave of bats so that they're not in our hair or faces or flapping around our heads when we're trying to fight anything else.
Okay, going to attempt to draw a bat.
Yep.
And then a bigger bat next to it.
Ah, right. Yes.
It'll give the surprise away, I suppose.
It will give the surprise away. Yep.
And I'm going.
I don't think we're going to have surprise anyway because someone's already discharged a gun.
I'm going to point at my first inscription, and then to the bigger bat.
Right. You don't see you don't see a man-sized bat in there. No, you just saw bat-sized bats.
Yeah, so many small bats in there. Not. There's only it's ordinary bats.
Yeah,
basically.
Lots and lots of ordinary bats.
Bat-sized men.
No bat-sized men that you can see. No.
Or no man-sized bat.
Or no man-sized bat.
Just lots of flying mice.
Yeah.
Invisible flying mice.
Nobody get that? Stretching my German there if I've got to try and remember what invisible is.
Fledermaus.
I know Fledermaus is bat. It's the invisible I can't remember.
Good job we're not firing bullets at the bat thing.
Yeah.
Because it'll have wings of steel.
Okay, so are we going with the gunfire plan? And if so, could everybody position themselves where they're going to be standing when it goes off?
Okey-dokey. I think I'm probably best suited, literally back out here.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in the water actually, because I'm better off in the water.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, I'll stand up against this wall.
Right, you are. So it's going to be you that's got the gun then. So, you've not used one before, so Mark has to load it for you. So she pulls the hammer back, puts. Well, first of all, she puts the
Are these rifled, these flintlocks?
It's a little
no.
pistol.
Yeah,
It's just like a little flintlock.
Yeah, what he means
Yeah.
is rifled, as in is the barrel rifled inside. No,
Oh.
it's a smooth bore, so they're not that
Smithmore. So
accurate.
best
or
not to
long
point
range.
it at the ground then.
Best not to point it at the ground. Yeah, she will put some wadding in for you. So she drops the charge in, drops the ball in, puts the wad in, pulls back the hammer, charges the pan, hands it to you.
Says point and shoot.
Yeah, don't
Ah.
elbow yourself in the side.
Right, yes. So you head over, you put your hand round the corner and pull the trigger. There's a brief click, boom! A massive bang which echoes through the chamber. The bats go batshit crazy. There's a
Bats go
massive
ballistic.
swarm of bats come straight down and out through the passageway, straight out into the main chamber you entered by, and out into the day to get away from whatever this horrifying noise is. The entire thing takes only a few seconds to pass, but there must have been hundreds of bats involved. And you're absolutely right. If you'd gotten into a fight and those bats had been disturbed, you would have all taken penalties for dealing with them. That was why I gave Shaun the experience for drawing them off. So, you've got until the bats decide to risk coming back. You figure that'll probably take a couple of hours. What would you like to do?
Well, there's bang goes the surprise.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we need to go into the chamber then,
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. But
Or-
when
Or is it the case that we could just like sort of go into the entrance to the chamber, bend over, wiggle the backside, and then run? And as we come at, like sort of that person then dives into the water, the bat thing comes out behind them, and somebody else jumps on it.
You could give it some consideration. How would you like to proceed?
Like here's the bait. It's Scooby-Doo time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure Mog has a net. You have a net, don't you?
I do have a net, yes.
Yeah. So rig up a Freddy trap.
I'm also still carrying a blanket.
Well, I don't know. Throw an oil tarp over it, set it on fire. Is that your
We're
plan?
not
But you've
going
been
through
in the
that
water.
again.
Classic.
It was a classic, yes.
Yeah, because you could actually be
Hey,
above.
what?
I take it there's rock face above the entrance into this passage.
Yes.
Because Mog could crawl up on top of that and then drop onto whatever comes flying out.
It's a bit low at the front. What I was thinking was if we do go deeper into the caves, once it starts getting higher, I was planning on going up the walls.
Yeah. Well, the big cave that you're looking at the moment, that's higher. That's about 6-7 meters up.
Yeah.
It's just the passageways and that small side tunnel that are low.
Now that the bats have cleared out, is there anything else visible?
No.
Right. So what are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? I'll come back and give Mog her gun back.
Right.
Thank you.
She quickly holsters it before anybody else borrows it.
Yep.
Can't trust these dwarfs.
So, what's everybody doing?
I think we should go in myself.
Okay.
So,
Start to
knocks.
position yourselves
Seems ready.
in the room then.
Glyn, are you there still?
I am here.
Okay, just you didn't say anything, and it sounded like
The,
you told him.
the thing is, I'm not in like humanoid form and
He's-
can't talk. So
Yeah, he's
Fair enough.
trying to roleplay the fact he can't actually speak.
Right. Well, say,
Hey,
is it re-
Snappy!
kind
Are we going in or not?
of method. Well, I'm currently submerged, so I don't think I can hear you.
Well,
splash your hand on the
my
edge of the
hand.
water.
Yeah.
I'm like doing very exaggerated arm movements and attempting to sign at a crocodile. Right now.
As long as you're not smiling.
So the expressive dance moves of Mog the Orc.
Big fish, little fish. You can have it.
Okay. So you can move yourselves to where you're going to be positioned and advance up to half your movement.
Yeah, I'd get to there. What
Okay.
you can do is, if you... Yeah. It doesn't seem to... Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Nell and Glyn, if you could move to where you're going to be, please.
Oh, right, you can actually do it like that.
Glyn? We've
Did
lost
you know
him
that,
again.
Brian?
What's that?
Sorry? No, I'm here.
Right.
I'm here.
Okay,
Hello?
yeah, if you
Can you
could-
hear me?
Yes, we can hear. If everyone could
Yeah.
move to where they're
Yeah.
actually going to be. Because you keep saying you're going into the thing, but you're all still hanging around.
Yeah, done that.
Right, okay.
I've moved as far as I could when you said
The lighting
my
isn't
movement.
I've still got fog of war covering the tunnel, even though I'm in it. I'm standing in darkness.
Okay. Let's just take a look as to why that would.
Oh,
Because we're not using fog of war, so that's why. Because your vision's not turned on. See if that
Ah,
helps.
because he's the crocodile, he's not him.
No, it doesn't. But if I bring my bare self, then I can see everything.
Hang on a second. Why has that not worked? Token vision. Because there's no light. Because you don't have night vision in crocodile form. That would be why.
Does my bare self have night vision?
I don't know. It shouldn't have. I don't think.
No,
It might
that's
have it
not
set to.
not one of the things I rolled up, I believe.
Okay, so what are you going to do as far as light's concerned then? Because once you get into that large room, it gets very dark. Because there's no light shining in that way.
Somebody's going to have to hold a torch.
you
in
able
that
to
case.
change it to something that's a bit better suited?
Are you asking that in character?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
In a lot of ways, crocodile's kind of quite well suited, but
Walks back to where the stone yes and no are. Points to no.
Right. Okay.
Could we? Oh, that's probably. Oh, yeah.
I've got a candle. Do you fancy balancing a tea light on your nose?
Okay,
The other thing-
somebody's going to have to carry a torch. Who would like to carry a torch?
Right, we could light a torch and throw it onto the guano and light it up.
That's a lot of guano in there.
Yeah.
Guano can be quite combustible.
Yeah.
Probably not best for me to carry the torch if I might end up on the walls or the ceiling, because if I drop it, that's not great.
Good point. Yeah.
How flat is a crocodile's back?
That's not the issue.
Right,
There.
well,
It's when you walk, you would wiggle
Yes.
left to right.
I'm just thinking with the scales. Like, would it kind of nestle between them nicely? And
I'm wondering if you could. You know how?
So you get a candle.
Yeah.
Get a candle, melt it slightly, stick it in the wax.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I've got a suspicion that might possibly work.
Crocodile head torch.
So I'm actually going to permit that. we might be bending science a little bit, but I think you could probably melt a.
Making a crocodile into a walking light-up coffee table.
Essentially, yes.
It's only for certain occasions.
Occasional table.
So,
Yeah.
token emits light, bright light distance. It's a candle, you said, didn't you?
Yeah.
So
It's only going to be like 10
bright
feet.
light's
or
not going to
whatever.
be that far. The low light's going to be a bit further. There we go. And the crocodile should now be shedding some light.
Okay. No, he's not. I can't see.
I'm so pleased they've got this
Dynamic lighting.
dynamic lighting to work. So token vision's on. Token emits light is also on. Low light is on.
Damnable lighting.
Yeah, there's literally no reason why you shouldn't be. I tell you what, I'm just going to set you up in legacy lighting as well, just in case. All players see light. 5 meters. Sorry. 1 meter. No, it's 2, isn't it? And 5. Okay.
Ah,
That worked?
that's worked.
Okay. So it's back to using the legacy lighting, even though earlier I had to set some of the characters to dynamic lighting. This is fun, isn't it?
There's nothing in that cave.
It has to be a challenge for you as well.
Well, quite. Yeah. Okay, just bear with
What would
me.
Sundays be without it?
As if your players weren't challenging enough.
Okay, so that's where you're all getting. All right. Apparently, Nell can't hear me now.
Oh.
Oh no, sorry. That's an old message, and it was Louise saying to Nell, "Can't hear you either." Sorry, my mistake. Ignore that. Right.
Yeah, no, I can hear all of you.
Okay.
That's actually one of my presenters from the radio station messaging me. That's why I'm pinging. So I'll worry about that later. So you're advancing into the room cautiously. Let's see what any of you can see from there. So the room widens up and heightens up as you get in. There are nodes off it left, right and centre. It's quite a sizable room by all dimensions as well. And as Kerj, the crocodile, comes moving in. Right, okay, if we can pause the front lot there, and if only Morg and Aldoran can move and tell me where you're going to be when Tamara and Kerj are there. And Morg, why do you appear to have a white feather?
Well, you didn't give me a moment to tell you what I was going to say.
Okay, sorry.
It's to signify that once there's enough wall, I'm climbing up the wall.
Ah, right. Okay, so as you guys move in, Morg just scuttles up the wall, just spider-like clambers up the wall. Okay.
Well, I'm going to hug this wall anyway.
Okay.
Get it behind me.
And let's just have a quick look at what's gone wrong now.
Actually,
Okay. That's it. Right. And
Oh no.
There were a lot of bones in here, weren't there?
there were, weren't there?
Now you mention it, yeah.
Okay.
Does that one have a goatee made of bones?
It might do actually. There's some bizarre undead forms.
looks like it's
in
got
amongst this.
ram horns on it.
Yeah, one of them's got ram horns on. So as you've come in, a large proportion of these bones have suddenly just pulled together and formed these various skeletons and risen up with sort of bone and chitinous clinking, clanking noises. They all sort of glare at you and silently start to advance, one halting step after another, like you've just stumbled into a Jason and the Argonauts scene. And as the undead advance on you, we'll leave it there for the week.
Oh,
I think we should kill this one first. Destroy this one first because he's small and weak.
As he looks small and weak, yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming to the game this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed it. That was the first installment of For the Blood is the Life, and we'll pick that up next week at the same place. Thank you very much for coming. I will dish out the experience points so far. You've been in one fight with the drowning men, which actually you proved no threat to you whatsoever, so that actually isn't worth any experience points. Sorry. However, everybody gets 50 points for having attended.
Kerj took, let's see,
We did.
13 points of damage out of 34.
Okay. I'll say Kerj was in slightly more danger than most of you. So, go on, Kerj can... well, I don't like... For combats, I don't like splitting it off. So I'll give everybody the 100 points for a low threat fight.
Okay.
Aw.
Thank you.
You did say you were feeling generous, so thank you.
I did say I was feeling generous, and I probably won't by next week because you know my mood swings. So,
Make,
so there you go.
make hay while the sun shines.
Make hay while the sun shines, exactly. Or indeed, grab experience points while the Games Master's in a good mood. So thank you very much for coming. That was the first instalment of For the Blood is the Life. I'll see you all again next week. Hope you've enjoyed the game. Do take care and stay safe.